Okay, now we're unmuted. Okay, we're live. We're live. So yeah, anyways, so yeah, he's kind of like getting pretty good, and I'm like kind of proud of him. So I'm like, all right, man, let me show you how to write some songs now, you know. So I got this bass, and I'm gonna get him down here with his drummer, and
I hate sitting low.
he plays guitar. He's pretty good now. He's genuinely kind of impressive. There's certain things he does already better than me, you know, and like he's kind of fast, like, and I'm like, wow, dude, that's like he's putting in the work. Like his work ethic is, he's kind of the opposite person he was when he was a shithead 15-year-old, you know, like lazy, fat, fucking jerking off all the time. Now he's like fucking like eating well, disciplined, fucking practices his guitar all the time. Super proud of him. Super fucking proud of him, dude. And so yeah, we're gonna start jamming, and it's weird. Like I give advice a lot, but it's weird to actually mentor somebody as they're starting their thing. It's going to be fun. Wally's kind of doing the same thing with his daughter.
Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Josie.
Josie. Yes, I knew that.
You knew that. What the fuck
that.
are you talking about? Well, cheers, buddy.
Here. Excellent.
So for people that don't know, tell people who you are, what you do, what you're known for.
Dan Dryden, bass player guy.
Oh, stay on that mic.
Oh, yes.
You got to eat that mic like it's a 58. Yes. There you go. Move it around. There you
go. Dan Dryden, bass player guy. For many, many years. I'm an old fella. Kind of done a lot of things. I know you got a big Twin Cities audience. A lot of people have no idea who I am, what I've done, who I've done.
Well, that's why I wanted to have you on. I think you're a pretty interesting
cool.
cat. I've gotten to I've known of you for a long time. I've gotten to know more of you and about you through being friends with you online, which I think has been about 6 months. 9 months. I don't know. I think you sent me a friend request a long time ago.
And who's this looker?
It was probably because Wally was on the fucking podcast or something. You know what I mean? Like, but I never look at my friend requests. So it was just sitting there forever probably. I don't even know how long. And then once I do go in there, I just accept all. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where it's like, oh, all of a sudden, like I'm seeing your post, and you're just a reasonable, well-researched dude. Like,
depends on who you ask. I've got my ideas and my ways, and some people would say that Dan Dryden's an asshole.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Son of a bitch.
But if you're talking about the people I think you're talking about, now don't get me wrong, I absolutely come across as an asshole via text messages. And I absolutely come across as an asshole online, on social media. But I know in my heart I'm not actually an asshole. I'm just sarcastic. I'm usually going for the joke that I think is funny. It doesn't land. People think I'm a dick. I get it. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Genuinely this time. And so going forward, I'm going to try to be a lot nicer of a guy.
Do you have real enemies, though?
I do now, because once I started to, again, even civil conversations where I started to be a little bit more truthful. And when I mean truthful is I mean like I stopped trying to beat around the bush. I was just like, nope, I'm going to vote for Trump. As soon as I admitted that.
I'm out of here.
About 6 months ago.
See you later.
It was worse than that.
Turn the page. Bye.
It was worse than that.
Bye, Donald Trump.
It was so much worse than that, dude.
Gwen Walls is the hottest woman in the world.
Who?
Gwen Walls.
Oh, my God. Get out of here, dude.
Anyways.
No, but for
what
real.
A fool.
It was the names I have been called just for that. Like I
by friends?
Yeah. I had a friend go, "Hey man, you seem to be really confused lately. I remember a time when you supported Bernie Sanders." And I just laughed. I was like, I never supported Bernie Sanders. Like, what I did was said the DNC stole the election from Bernie Sanders in 2016 and gave it to Hillary Clinton. So I'm defending Bernie against his own party. But that doesn't mean I supported Bernie. That just means I can, from the outside looking in, go, hey, you guys fucked this dude over. Like, and that was the first step to me, like being like, I'm not on this team anymore. So it basically what I'm getting at with this opening rant here is like being called an asshole is basically meaningless nowadays, because the things people will call you a Nazi, a bigot, a racist, just because they don't align with your political views or you don't align with their political views, I find it immature, and I find it destructive. I don't even think it's not constructive. I think it's destructive.
I've got some words for people that disagree with me. It's usually not verbalized. It's usually just
pull that a little closer to you.
Just, ugh. Come on. Seriously.
Ugh.
But then, we spoke a little before we started here that I do my best not to gloat, although I'm very, very pleased with the outcome of the other week. In fact, I think it was just last week where I saw some friends that I know did not vote the Trump way, and I kind of felt weird just even getting eye contact with them. Be like, sorry about your shitty candidate there. But
it's such an interesting thing too, though, Dan, because it's like I've been accused of gloating, and like somebody said, and I quote, "Stop gloating, accept your win, and move on like an adult," or something like that. So I guess it's not a quote; it's a paraphrase. But it was like, I'm not gloating. I'm not even that happy he won. I'm just super excited that Timmy the Tyrant isn't gonna be in the fucking White House, because again, these people institute rent control for 3%. So you can only increase your rents in Minneapolis now 3%. But they just increased my property taxes 18%.
Oh, yeah.
What people don't realize is a lot of these rental properties, like if you own a duplex, like sometimes you only make like $100 a month profit. But if your taxes go up $150 a month, that investment property is now a liability. But the Democratic supporters, left-wing supporters, the liberals, all of them, they don't understand this anymore. And they're not rational people. And this is going to be the end of this. At least my rant on this is, that's the whole point I'm trying to make, is they're no longer rational. You will give them mathematical facts like what I just spelled out, and they will do the craziest mental gymnastics to somehow be like, nope, that's okay. Like, dude, I'm so done with them, dude.
It's hard for me to really. I can't throw any rental figures at you. I have not rented in many decades.
I don't own a rental property. Though that 18% that it got, that's my personal private home that we're in right now. 18% again.
I was a landlord down in Georgia when I lived there for 4 or 5 years. And, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like anything about it anymore.
Being a landlord, you mean?
Yeah, that's bad. It was in Eastman, Georgia, where it's a dry county. You can buy beer at the convenience store. That's it. There's not a TGI Fridays. There's nothing. There's what's that horrible seafood
So you can
restaurant.
buy alcohol, you just can't serve it.
You can't buy liquor.
Right, but you can't
beer.
serve alcohol. So there's no like bars.
You can't. There's no bars. There's no liquor stores. You can get beer at the convenience store. That's it. And
I'd sadly be okay with that as a beer drinker.
It's terrible. But yeah, the town wasn't thriving. And hello, anyone in Eastman, Georgia. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while.
How's it doing now?
I bet
still not thriving.
I bet it's the exact same. Maybe they changed some things. I bet they would thrive if they got a TGI Fridays.
Right.
That'd be great. But no, that ain't happening. So there we are. Start off with some politics.
Well, it's so funny too, because it's like just having a political opinion that doesn't, like, I don't know. I guess like I said, like, it's just not a rational thing anymore, because I could be a hardcore liberal and you and I would have a completely civil conversation and we would still have a great 3-hour podcast. Like, no problem. Like, no, I could, because I know how you're going to treat me, because I don't know any conservatives, nor have I met any conservatives that call
when you say
horrendous.
hardcore liberal.
The risk would be how I treat you.
Yeah.
If I was a hardcore liberal, you being you, the risk of us not treating each other well wouldn't be how you treat me if I'm the hardcore liberal. The risk is how I treat you.
That's true.
That's what I'm getting at. It's no longer rational or reasonable. Like, I have extremely pleasant conversations with every single Republican or conservative I know. about serious and controversial topics. I don't have the ability to have those conversations with any liberals I know anymore. Every single person I know that votes blue has lost their fucking minds.
Dude, you need Gwen Walls on the podcast.
Gwen Walls. Is that Tim Walls' family that hates him?
No,
Is that who it is?
His wife. That's what kind of
That's
bums
the
me
second
out.
time you brought her up. Catch me up. What do I not know about Gwen Walls?
Well, I think she's a teacher, which is terrifying. You just I can't. It's hard.
Cleats, pull me up a fucking.
Yeah,
pull me up a video of Gwen Walls.
Gwen Walls, turn the page.
Oh, I did see this speech. I do know what you're talking about.
She's insane.
This is when Kamala Harris was trying to do the we're not going back. We're going to turn the page forward together. And then it got busted on social media that was a direct lifted line from a communist website.
Oh, good.
Like an openly communist website. And then they tried to do the fake fact check thing. No, she's not preaching communist rhetoric, which of course she was. And then that stopped. Like that whole thing lasted like 3 days. And then, oh, Jesus Christ. Cleats. Oh, my God, that's loud, dude. You got to turn that down before you blast us. So how to do that, by the way? Oh, so Cleats is still in training. That's why this gets a little bogged down. So how to do that is you got to go into, remember how I showed you to pull up that Focusrite controller and then find that signal. It should be the SPDIF or whatever it is on the bottom, going into the headphone output. So you're only turning it down for us in the headphones, not for anybody else. Yep, that's exactly what, and it's going to be, so click on the left side, the third one where it says analog 3.4 out to hub, all the way to the left. Yep, click that. Nope, don't mute it. Just click the box, not that box. Just
in the box.
Yep, there you go. And now it's going to be software DAW playback number 1. Yep, if it's not that, it's going to be number 2. So turn those both very down. Because it's either, yep, turn that one down half, so put that back up to -12, and now take the second one and turn that down to half of what that is. Because no matter which channel it's going to come through, it was too loud. So you just kind of built a failsafe. So kill that and then play that video again. This is the one you were talking about, I believe. Yep, here it is. Yeah, great job, dude. That sounds much better. I wonder if I could get her on the podcast.
I saw a clip where they zoomed in on her eyes.
Who's that? Is that his fat daughter?
I don't know.
I sound so disgusting. I'm such a dick.
Ooh.
Like, I'm so shallow. If I'm running for president and that's my daughter, I'm like, no, you sit on the side. You sit on the side. Because 2 reasons. Number 1, that level of obesity is going to cost us votes. I sound like such a dick. But this is how people think. And number 2, I also don't want my daughter to be ridiculed publicly for being fat. So
because it's happening right now.
You know what I mean? I'm literally doing it. I'm basically protecting you from
Jason,
me.
how long is this?
Down.
How long is this clip? It's pretty long.
That's too long. That's 10 minutes.
I think go towards the back, and if you see her arms flailing, actually just kind of go along there. If you see her arms flailing, she's doing her turn.
No,
page
see where the peak is, Jason.
Oh, yeah. It's probably
right there. That's where you want to be.
Yeah,
yep.
go.
Just hit play right there. Oh, God damn it. We got an ad. Mute it. Let it play in the background.
You need to spend the $13 a month for the premium.
Dude, I don't even get me started, Dan. This is a whole thing. Mute the fucking thing and let it play in the background, bro. There you go. There you go. Now hit play and just let it go in the background. Get rid of it off the screen so that I don't want them to see it. There we go. We'll wait 13 seconds and then we'll let this fucker play.
Have a sip of this.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
I know you're more of a tequila guy. You said that, but it's all right, Jason. That's why you're doing it off camera, dude. There's no pressure here, dude. But you guys are right. It's not $13.99 though. It's like fucking $30 a month or some shit.
I could pull up my.
No, we'll fucking.
I believe it's $13.99.
Oh, you know what? Is it
$13.99
for one person? Is that what it is? And then I think it's $30 for the family. I think that's what it is. All right, here we go. Play this motherfucker. Now, hopefully you guys in chat can hear this. If you can't, we fucked up.
Ugh.
Turn it up, Jason. Like in the YouTube, yeah. Here it is. This is it.
Says Tim. Great.
She looks like she's trying to coach a bunch of people to do like the gay dude, like, oh hell no. Oh hell no. You know what I mean? Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Like, is that homophobic for me to say that? Like,
no.
Turn the page. Like, it could just be.
Could you imagine?
52 days. Remember, they kept counting down 52 days. Oh, man, this aged like milk.
Yeah.
You can kill this, Jason. We made the point. Yeah, dude, you're right, though, dude. It's so awkward. It's so weird, dude. And then they said J.D. Vance and the Republicans were weird.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just weird. I'm like, bro, you guys are fucking weird, dude. So were you were always a Republican or a conservative? Do you identify both as the same thing? Do you differentiate the two?
It's all the same to me.
What does it mean to you, and why do you identify as a conservative?
It's common sense, the way I see it, and that's how I'm going to describe it. It's not. I'm not going to.
Well, I do think it's common sense now. Like, I genuinely think the Republican Party stands for nothing more than just like common sense. Because there's pro-life Republicans now. There's pro-choice Republicans now, but it's just common sense. But when I was a kid and my parents brought me up, it was small government, right?
Sure.
So like that's what I mean. Like
that's what we're headed.
Like
for
how
right
did
now.
you start off? Like were you a high school kid and that's how your parents raised you?
No.
Did you have liberal parents and you rebelled against them to be a Republican?
When I joined Stuck
How'd
Mojo,
you get here?
When I joined Stuck Mojo down in Georgia, Rich Ward is a known conservative, very conservative. Like he had.
Stuck Mojo is a pretty big band.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were in Stuck Mojo.
Yeah, that was all part of my getting down to Georgia and all that. It's
okay, we're gonna
it's a
get
good
there.
story.
We're gonna get there. Okay.
But I learned a lot of my right-leaning ways just listening to Rich and interviews and whatnot. And then 9/11 happened, and I really started paying attention. And yeah.
How old were you when 9/11 happened?
9.
Oh wow.
No, I was.
I was like, you're younger than me.
I know, I'm like,
I'm like the old
30.
man.
So, let's see. 31 years old. 31 years young.
You were 31 when 9/11 happened.
I was.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Yep, I'm an older gentleman when it comes to rock and roll. That's why I don't do a whole lot of rock and roll anymore, other than My Famous Friends, which I do every week, and it's great and it's awesome.
We're definitely going to get there, and I just want to build a natural, organic transition from this shit to the music, and then to whatever we want to talk about. Because this is just what we happen to be talking about as we started the podcast, so it's just a natural, organic progression. But so, okay,
can I say something? That,
were you apolitical? Yes, but were you apolitical before 9/11?
No.
Okay.
My
What were you
parents
gonna
were
say?
always Republican and whatnot.
Okay.
No, I'm not even going to say it. It's about
say it.
It's about the word organic.
Okay.
I had a former bandmate of mine that didn't understand what that word meant.
Which is almost nothing. It's almost meaningless.
But,
it should be It really means natural.
Yeah, that's all it is, and that's what I would say. It's like the only reason we're as good as we are now is it just happened organically because we haven't tried, we haven't rehearsed, we haven't done this, we haven't watched videos and critiqued ourselves. It just happened organically. What does that even mean? Whatever.
It does mean almost nothing in regards to food. Like, it's an arbitrary label that can be loosely applied to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of organic. The only way you can tell your vegetables are organic is if they're fucking tiny and look like shit.
If I found a Twinkie on the grass.
Clip that, Jason. That's a fucking clip, dude. That's a great clip.
All right. Sorry. I
We're having
jumbled it
fun.
with my Twinkie talk, but yeah, if you find a Twinkie on the grass, you could label that organic, couldn't you?
No,
Came
no,
from
you
nature.
fucking no the fuck you can't.
Oh.
No, the fuck you can't, Dan.
All right. Well, then I guess I don't know what organic means.
Nope. Nope. So anyways, I just wanted to know about that because I'm very curious about that because I was raised as a Republican, right? So when I'm young and I'm dumb and I don't know anything, I'm just okay.
How old are you?
I'm 40. And so my mom was like a Reagan Republican, right? So I was raised like thinking of the
I think
Republicans
your mom
as
and I went to school together.
don't I don't want to fight you. I just met you.
I'm talking about the age, not because
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. Let's
Yeah.
leave her out of this.
That's right.
Okay. But no, jokes aside, she was like a Reagan Republican, right? Like Ronald Reagan was the best, you know, and of course she voted for Bush, and then she voted for Ross Perot because he was going to legalize pot. I remember that was because my parents were those parents, and then 9/11 happened. And for me, the exact opposite thing happened that what you described. I started looking at things, but it really was like, I was like, dude, fuck the Republicans. Dick Cheney, fucking George Bush, these fucking warmongers. They're just literally Halliburton, Lockheed Martin. They're just literally.
you're 17.
Yeah, yep. And I'm like, they're literally just fucking creating a war to go in and reap contracts from these no bid contracts that
Very
that he
insightful.
just gave to his buddies.
It's very insightful for a 17-year-old.
I went to a high school. I'm fairly intelligent, but I went to a high school full of very like we were people that thought about shit. Like even when we were in school in our history class, like it was more like a college campus. Like we would like debate with the teacher and like there would be a back and forth rather than a typical high school where it was a lecture and it was like fucking here's the facts and blah 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 blah. Because our teacher went through Vietnam, right? So our teacher was like, hey, you guys, like, you should think about this way. And he wasn't telling us what to think. He was, like, telling us how to think constructively and critically. So he's like, if the government says this, maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. How do you figure that out? So he, like, taught us how to, like, fact check and, like, do shit like that, right? And what I'm discussing is also a 3-year burn. 17 to 20. It's not like this happened on 9/11 and I was like, oh, it's corruption. That's not what I'm claiming.
The way I see it.
That's not what I'm claiming. But I became very disenfranchised and I was like, oh, Dick Cheney and the Republican Party, it's a bunch of fucking warmongers and oil people and fuck these guys, right? So I voted for Obama. And then Obama was Bush. Like everything Bush did, the Patriot Act, the fucking war in Afghanistan, all of it. The drone bombings, all of it. Obama just did it times 2. Like he was way stricter on everything. Everything Bush did, Obama also did. And so I was like, this motherfucker lied to me because I voted against Bush policies. I voted for hope you can believe in. I bought everything Obama sold, hook, line, and sinker. And Obama's first term was Bush 2.0. And so that was the beginning of the end for me, basically. And so here we are 12 years later, and I fucking voted for Trump. Like, what world do I live in, dude? Like,
who knows if Trump would be here to save the world had McCain won or Romney. Be like, what a different world this would be. It's fortunate, I think, weirdly enough, that things happen the way they did. So Trump's here now to save the world. That's what I think. In a nutshell. I don't like to dissect it too much, but that's what I believe.
I mean, that sounds like a bit much, but things
Nope.
are going so...
Nope, that's exactly how it is.
Things are going south so fast under the Democratic leadership that as far-fetched as that sounds, I totally understand why people feel that way, because he seems like the only one that gives a fuck about anybody who's not left-wing special interest.
And the smartest Democrats have left the party and joined him.
That is super true. RFK. And that's actually, and here's the thing, I should clarify this for everybody that's not a regular follower. They maybe check in from time to time. The final thing where I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing this, is when it was Tulsi and RFK joining the ticket. Because I've listened to those people on long-form podcasts, and I believe that Tulsi Gabbard is a great human, and I believe that RFK is a legit dude. And when they both joined his ticket, I was like, all right, I need to seriously look at this dude. Like, did you hear that, Jason? My headphones just cut out for a second. Did I hit a wire? Yeah, I think I hit one of my fucking cables down here, dude. Once that happened, I was like, all right, I'm gonna spend some real time looking at this Donald Trump guy. And for me, the final moment was because I had a very good friend of mine sit in that exact seat and tell me that Donald Trump was a racist because he refused to condemn white supremacy. And he played me the clip of him going, there's good people on both sides, right? And then I finally found the full unedited clip, and I was angry. Like not just upset, not disappointed. I was fucking angry. I was furious, dude. I was like, not only did you motherfuckers lie to me, like, and I'm talking about the media, I was like, you brainwashed intelligent friends of mine to where these motherfuckers were basically gaslighting everybody else for you on your behalf.
Removing the context.
Like, he straight up condemns the white supremacists. He straight up says it. Can you find me the clip, Jason, just so we can clear this up for everybody too? Because I don't want people to go, oh, Jared's on that same shit that every. No, let's find the clip where Trump does condemn white supremacy. The whole thing is like 30 seconds long, but they conveniently chop out the 8 seconds where he condemns white supremacy, and they pretend it never happened, dude.
That's
and
the
it's
fine
a
people
blatant
hoax.
lie, dude.
Same speech, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's so dumb,
dude.
Which
he
Barack,
was no. It wasn't the Charlottesville thing. It was when they were talking about taking down the statues. That's the speech that I'm referring to. Dude, it's just such a disingenuous.
Statues, they gotta go.
It's past disingenuous, dude. It was straight up a lie. Yeah, mute that. Let that play in the background. It's just a straight up lie, and that's what I'm getting at, dude. And it was like, so for me, and that's why I'm gonna put this back in your court. But I just want to kind of set you up with the playground to play within by kind of setting the stage for what I went through. Is like my parents raised me thinking Republicans are all about small government. But then George Bush, Patriot Act, all this shit, it was bigger government, surveillance, blah, 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 blah. Then Obama made it even worse. So now all of a sudden we're coming around to 2024, and the Republican Party that I now identify with in many ways is about small government, but it's really more about common sense, getting things back to states' rights, individual rights, which means to me, the Republican Party has quickly in the last 8 years become much more liberal and much more libertarian than conservative. That's why I asked you about the difference between the two and how you identify. And it sounds like you don't really give a fuck. It almost sounds like you're where I'm at, which is just like, you're like, the Democrats are fucked. I'm a Republican.
I think the Democrats.
Because I'm a liberal Republican.
Democrats are. The Democrat leaders, I'll say that because I don't want to get in trouble with my Democrat friends.
I think this is perfect. Play this. This is 54 seconds. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is actually not so he did this more than once then. Just hit spacebar, bro. Just hit spacebar. When you're hovering over YouTube like that and you've already clicked it, just hit spacebar. That'll pause the video. Anyways, so he clearly did it more than once. That's not even the video I'm talking about, but he not only am I telling the truth, he did it more than once because that's not even the one I'm referring to. But that's what I'm talking about, dude. It's just the straight up lies, dude.
Well,
It's so
Barack
fucking
did-
disappointing, man.
Barack did that. He accused Trump of the
Recently.
the fine people hoax the week before the election.
That's exactly the
It's
part
such
I'm referring
bullshit,
to.
You know, it's
That's exactly what I'm referring to, dude. And there's a compilation that and maybe that's what you look for is there's a comp where it shows Barack Obama talking shit, and then it says what they say he said, and then it jumps to the actual clip, and they're like what he actually said. And that's what I'm referring to. It doesn't really matter because we kind of already proved the point because he is definitely condemned.
oh yeah.
Dude, this dude funded Jesse Jackson. Like when Jesse Jackson ran for president,
Yep.
Trump is the one who funded his campaign. Why would you fund a black man for president if you're racist?
He's the least racist man in the world.
I don't know if that's true,
It's
but
totally true.
I don't know if that's true.
He's
I bet you,
racist more, perhaps more than we. I can't remember. I'm not a good Trump impersonator. Least racist than anyone's ever seen before. I don't know.
It's just so wild because I also agree that post-assassination attempt, he's not the same Trump that we saw in 2016. Like, he does seem humbled. He seems way more chill, way more rational, way more direct. And he's like, oh, and that's the other thing. And
I think he knew it was working for him, and he just like, let's just ride as much as they try to rile me up, man. I just got to stay
chill.
Stay cool.
Yeah. And I think for me, the truncated summary is they tried to talk shit, didn't work. They tried to use the media against him, that didn't work. They tried to use the court systems against him, that didn't fucking work. So these motherfuckers tried to kill this motherfucker, and that didn't fucking work. And that's when I was like, okay, there's something happening here. Like, there's something weird. And like I said, I was like, all right, I got to really look at this guy and see what's going on. And that's once I realized how much I had been duped by living in Minnesota and seeing left-wing edited news. And it, again, this started when Biden was in office because I was down in Texas and fucking I had heard versions of things that they had said. And I'm like, that's not true, you guys. Like, I can show you evidence of this. And they were like, they were fucked up. They were like, like when Trump said about the protesters and the rioters. He was actually talking about the rioters, but he didn't mince words. He's like, those people should be shot like dogs. I'm paraphrasing, but he did say this, right? The people in Texas had never heard that. And that's when it hit me. And I go, oh, like the news in Texas is pro-Trump, and the news in Minnesota is anti-Trump. Because they had also done the same for me. They had shown me versions of shit where I'm like, wow, dude, that's not what's being played up north. Like, that's not what we're seeing in Minnesota, dude. Like, this is fucked.
For the record.
Oh, this is it. This is it. Hit this.
Hold on. For the record, I can I speak for you?
Yeah.
We do not condone shooting dogs.
No.
Even though my governor in South Dakota is awesome. I also live in South Dakota. We'll get to that too.
You got dual residency. I'm about to do that in Wisconsin, and I'm going to do trip. I'm going to do here because I have to because I'm from here, and I can't completely give up on this place. We're definitely moving to Wisconsin for property tax reasons, and we're moving to Texas for income tax reasons. So we're going to snowbird. We're going to be back up and moving around. So, all right, go ahead and play this. Let's just put a bow on this part of this conversation. Go all the way back to the beginning, and then we'll come back here because we missed the first, 4 seconds. Okay, not literally the very beginning. Get to the beginning of his speech. Oh, here it is. Okay. There, yeah, that's it. Antifa. He's talking about Antifa. All right, I think we've proved our point. There's multiple versions of this, but this is suddenly, here's the point. Now this shit is super easy to find on the internet. Super easy to find.
Well, and X is getting into the business of
I think
video and streaming.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. I think basically what it was is Elon Musk bought Twitter, gave bona fide free speech, right? If you're breaking a law, we're taking your shit down. If you're not breaking a law, we're not taking your shit down. And it woke a lot of people up, man. You want to talk about being woke. Like it's so funny how that actually means being completely asleep, because actual woke is what happened on Twitter, and all the truth got exposed. And now suddenly on YouTube, on Facebook, now suddenly all the fucking, like, do you know how often I used to get fucking banned from Facebook or Instagram for saying the wrong thing, for calling somebody, I go, quit being a bitch.
Times.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It doesn't happen anymore. So I just think it's super interesting that the world that we live in, like, we can just be villainized for being like, yep, I voted for that guy. Yep, because you guys have lost your minds, and they're like, you're a bigot. Like, it's just such a weird vibe.
Last weekend was great for this, though.
Has it affected your career as a musician in any way?
I don't play in the city. We play rural areas. It's all Trump.
Where everybody loves that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody hates him in the cities. Everybody loves him outside of the cities.
We have our own production. We don't like paying clubs for their production, which oftentimes sucks. We just do our own thing.
It is definitely negatively affecting me, admitting I voted for Trump. But honestly, I've always been kind of a rebel. I'm like, all right, you guys are going to try to fuck me? All right, fine, I'll stand here.
I just find it so weird that that's a rebel move to vote for the good guy.
It's also a rebel move if you admit you're a Christian right now.
God bless.
I'm serious. Like, admitting you're a Christian right now opens you up to being attacked.
All right. Well, I'm a Christian-loving Trump guy.
Me too. Well, I'm not a Trump lover, but I voted for that motherfucker, and I'm glad he won. I'm fucking glad he won, dude.
In a good couple weeks.
And here's the thing, dude. If the Democrats don't learn their fucking lesson, and this is the only reason I even really brought this up or even wanted to go into politics with you at all tonight, is just tell me if I'm crazy, because here's what I'm continuing to warn my Democrat friends. If you guys don't get the fucking message, if you don't get your fucking shit together and stop fucking everything up, it's not going to end with Trump. We're coming for the cities. Like, I'm telling you, Minnesota's going to flip red. Like, Minneapolis is going to suddenly have a Republican mayor real fucking quick. Because you're pissing black people off. You're pissing poor people off.
Stop warning them.
I want them to be better. Like, I think it's better for the world if
that
both parties get
organically.
Better.
It's a little callback. That will happen organically if people just stop listening to their bullshit liberal news outlets and just live life. You'll find.
Get that out of here, Jason, you shithead.
What do you pull up?
He just pulled up the word organic again. He put the definition up there again. You fucker.
Did it say Twinkie on a green lawn?
Nope.
But yeah, that's politics are so boring to me now, because I think everything that could be said has been said.
Well, here's the thing though, is like the reason
and
I'm
I like
warning
the direction it's going.
The reason I'm warning the Democrats is the same. Basically, I'm just being the same dude I've always been, which is I was kind of telling Republicans for a long time the same thing. I was like, you guys aren't reasonable. Like, you guys are basically run by a bunch of fucking boomers. This is when I'm 20 years old. I'm like, it's all boomers.
I was 60.
Who are like staunch Republicans, hard pro-life. I was like, no one can relate to you unless you're you. And I was like, that's why you guys are not going to have any power. And they did. They lost control of the entire country for about 12 years. Between 2008 and 2020, they lost complete control. They really did. Because they weren't fucking listening to the American people.
Regained it in 2020, but something happened.
But
84 million votes to a vegetable.
Yeah, there's 18 extra votes in 2020 that just magically showed up and then disappeared in 2024, even though more people registered to vote than ever in 2024.
So weird. It's
super obvious. They fucking rigged that shit.
Well, and what's great, it's like we don't need to debate. I can't. How do you say debate? We don't need to debate.
Debate. You got it, man.
We don't need to debate that any longer because Trump administration is going to get in there and find everything, or not.
So where are you originally from?
Brainerd, Minnesota.
Okay, so you're originally from here, raised Republican. You moved down south.
It wasn't that. No. So I left the homeland when I was 19. Came to New Brighton. I was always a musician. I've been playing since I was 13, 14. Steadily playing and had bank loans.
Stay close on that.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Bank loans and was always responsible with my rock and roll.
So you're good with money. You were responsible with money.
No, just better. I was able to generate enough to not be responsible with money.
Okay, I got you. I get it.
But then moved to Twin Cities in
Jason, will you grab us a couple beers, please?
1989. That's how old I am. I'm 54. So that's when the Iron Horse was around. Mirage just opened, I think. You know, it was a different time. Formed a band called Mad At You, and we played all the clubs, and we traveled from Alaska to Florida. That's when you could play the clubs 5-6 nights a week. It's just crazy. Weird
Which
time.
Technically you can still do, but it's not the same.
Not like this. It's just balls to the wall every night.
Right.
You know, it's nickel beer night one night and 2-for-1s the next, and commie night.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, what do we got here? Centennial
little IPA.
Right.
I know you said you're taking it light this month.
Yeah.
So
can I get a fork?
Get out of here.
It's a little beer joke. Cheers. This ain't Dylan. What's her name? What's his name?
Who?
Dylan, the Bud Light chick guy.
Oh, Dylan Mulvaney.
Not her beer. This one will cross your eyes.
This is still like a very drinkable IPA, though.
Nope. I mean, I'll drink it.
But we're talking. Nope.
So just a little history. So I'll go quickly here. So
no, you don't. We got time. You got time. Because I do want to slow down and really because this is my favorite part of these get to know you podcasts. Is so let's slow down.
So with when we moved, Todd Litchie, my drummer, and I, we moved from Brainerd to the Twin Cities. Met a fella named Steve Philbrook, who great.
So first, before we even get into meeting Steve Philbrook, how do you decide to even do music? Like, where does this come from? Were you 8 years old and you knew from day one?
Oh, musical
were you
family.
14 and you showed up at a fucking concert? Okay, musical family.
Musical family, piano lessons, trumpet, all that kind of thing. My uncle left a bass guitar and a little Silvertone amp at my.
Was it one of those things where everybody just plays an instrument? No pressure, and you just kind of
family band.
Yeah,
no,
and I don't mean like I don't mean like the Carpenters or anything. I mean like everybody just in this family just happens to play an instrument. No pressure. Like, okay, here's a great example. Everybody in my family
expected. It was kind of just expected.
Every single person in my family, and I mean every single person in my family, can say the alphabet backwards. It's just something we all know. We don't teach it to other kids in the family. But the fact that every single family member can do it, every little kid is like, oh, then I need to learn how to do it. And so every kid teaches them, like, I can literally do the alphabet backwards. Everybody, it's not impressive in my family.
I learned it once.
Do you know what I'm saying, though? So is that kind of like what music was happening? Or was it like, hey, we're a musical family, pick an instrument?
Was it pushed on me? Maybe. I don't know. Piano lessons I didn't really enjoy, but, you know.
But it was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But okay. It was like, but you're going to do something musically.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was just a no-brainer for sure.
That's super smart. I think that's good parenting.
Can I tell you why I learned the alphabet? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Why'd you learn the alphabet backwards?
Alphabet.
I feel like I
backwards.
also need to prove it real quick, but go ahead.
Well, how well do you sing?
How well do I sing?
Yeah.
That's subjective, bro.
All right, you know Crazy Train, right?
If you ask me, I'm ass.
You
If
know,
you ask
Crazy
certain
Train.
people, they're like, I love that guy's voice. I wish he still sang.
Oswald Osborne. Crazy
Shout
Train.
out to Jeremy Blake.
You know,
Yeah.
Crazy Train. Yes. You just do that for a verse. I would do that for the last verse. Z-Y-X. You. I don't know how to do it anymore, so you'll have to sing it.
I'm not singing on this podcast. That's never going to happen, dude.
Z-Y-X-W. Fuck, I don't know. I can't remember. But it fits perfectly. And then at the end, A-B-C-B-A. Oh, shit, I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do there. Okay.
Then I'd
For
say
me,
WKRP,
it's
I'd-
basically the same rhythm as the regular alphabet. It's just ZYX, WV, RTS, ZYX, WV, UTS, RQP, ONM, LKJ, IHG, FED, CBA. It's just a different rhythm, but it's
Can
the
we
same
play that
thing.
back? I'd like to fact check that.
ZYX, WV, UTS, RQP, ONM, LKJ, IHG, FED, CBA. Not only am I good at it, it's gotten me out of DUIs. Where they're like, say your alphabet, and I was like, bitch, I'll say that shit backwards and then just throw it in their face. And they're like, fuck this guy. Like,
Wait.
it's
Are you old man singer's kid? You son of a bitch.
you son of a bitch. This family's been duping us for years.
Speaking of which, I've been...
Because
Dude,
I don't think sober people can say the alphabet backwards.
I could maybe read it backwards, not recite it. But, you know, I'm going to look back on this podcast and go, I'll probably have said incredible and amazing and you son of a bitch. All these kill Tony Hinchcliffe things, because I go to sleep.
Amazing.
I need so much. I have so much to catch up on. My buddy Craig from ITIS, he tried to get me to watch Kill Tony for years. We'd have long conversations while he's in Hawaii, and I'd be the only one that's awake at 5 a.m. when he's getting done with his gig. That we just bullshit for hours. He's trying to get me to watch Kill Tony. I'm like, I don't know.
It was really hard to watch for a long time.
I picked up on it now. I love it. It's all.
How long have you been watching it?
Just a couple months.
So you're just watching the new shit as it comes out, I assume?
No. I seriously, I will go to bed with an earbud, listen to 11 hours of William Montgomery.
Yeah, dude, that's my favorite guy out there. But did you go back to episode 1 when you started watching Kill Tony?
I watched the trailer, which was just pretty interesting.
At the beginning,
it was funny.
Dude, no, and that's what I'm saying. It was hard to watch at the beginning.
But going back now, after seeing a lot of the regulars, and even William for that fact, he was in the first 100 episodes.
Yep, true.
Yeah, he's a riot, man.
William Montgomery is my favorite unknown comedian, because unless you know Kill Tony, you don't know who William Montgomery is. You just don't know who he is. He's my favorite unknown comedian. That's one of my favorite podcasts to watch. And that's why I keep telling people, I'm like, listen, man, I get it. Like, I'm not Joe Rogan. This isn't the best podcast. I'm not the best podcaster. But, like, just stick with it. Because, like, Tony Hinchcliffe sucked at the beginning. Go watch the first 100 episodes of Joe Rogan. Even the first 200 episodes of Joe Rogan. They're hard to watch. Like, Joe Rogan wasn't good at it. It takes a long time to get good at this job. Like, a long time.
You know where Joe got his inspiration for the whole thing?
Yeah, I've heard this story. It depends on which version of the story you believe. But basically, it's either Tom Green or it's Opie and Anthony.
Yeah, Cumia.
Or it's fucking Howard Stern, right? It depends on how you want to, which version of the story you believe or which version of the story you've heard.
Directly from his mouth when he's on Anthony's show, it's Anthony Cumia, because it wasn't Opie and Anthony.
But then he's told Tom Green to his face.
Oh, right. He's told Tom that too?
Yeah. And then there's a video of Tom Green with Joe Rogan on it. And Joe Rogan's like, dude, I think you figured this out. He goes, I think this is the future.
Okay.
He goes, fuck all these other people. He goes, what you're doing right now, this is it. And he goes, now you just got to figure out how to make money. Right. He goes, how do we make money doing this without the studios? right? And then when Tom Green came on the podcast, he said the same thing. He's like, "You're technical," but he also told the same thing to Opie and Anthony. So I think it was like most things in the world. There was like 6 things that inspired Joe to do
influences, but yeah, I didn't know he had said that to Tom, but I've heard him definitely say it to Anthony Cumia. So interesting.
Yeah, and Joe's obviously a huge inspiration for me to do this, but Joe wasn't the original inspiration for me to do this. It was listening to a podcast on the TV show Lost. And then it was a podcast on the NFL draft. And my mom and I were listening to this Lost podcast because it was a mystery TV show. And my mom was like, "Jared, you should do something like this because the way you talk about things and the way you dive into things, that's like what they're doing." And I was like, "Yeah, but like I'm not a good enough musician to do a music podcast, and I don't know anything about anything else to be an expert at anything." But Joe Rogan didn't exist, so I didn't realize you could just have conversations with people from an industry and build a culture.
Good. I would have not been inspired by a Lost podcast or the NFL draft podcast. Totally not my thing.
That's what I was into at 16, 17, 18 years old, though, dude.
NFL this year's pretty good as far as
Who's your team?
the Vikings.
You are a Vikings fan? Tough. Even this year, I preach temperance. Is that the word, Jason? Will you pull up the definition of the word temperance? I preach temperance to Vikings fans this year. Because it's very similar to what it was 2 years ago. Like
tread
first round exit.
Tread lightly on.
It's a first round exit. It's a first round exit, but for the opposite reason of 2021. In 2021, we had a great offense and a fraudulent defense. This season, we have a great defense and we have a fraudulent quarterback. Temperance, it's multiple definitions.
Abstinence
Temperance is
from alcohol.
Keep going down. I fucking hate, and I mean hate. I'm homies with Ezra Tuaolo, who says hate in every form is wrong. Well, I got to have Ezra back on the podcast because I need to discuss with him why it's rational to hate AI, and it's this shit. It's because now when I Google things, I get some bullshit version of AI telling me 80 versions of something that is definitely not what I'm looking for. There you go. Self-restraint, moderation and self-restraint. I'm preaching temperance when it comes to people's excitement about the Minnesota Vikings this year, because there's only 2 options that happen with the Minnesota Vikings this year.
I'm glad you
first round playoff exit or Super Bowl champions.
I'm glad you do that as well with just wanting to know words. There's certain words that Gavin McInnes always says during his podcast, and I'm just like, I got to remember to look that up.
I usually use the words correctly, but when I'm on the podcast, every time I say a word where I'm like, ooh, maybe not.
Let's all learn something. Let's pull it up.
There was this moment in rehearsal 15 years ago with a band where I went, that's redundant. And both my singer and my bass player looked at me while I sat on my drum set, and they go, "Do you even know what that word means?" And I go, "Yeah, obviously." And I the definition, and they laughed at me. They laughed in my face, and I'm an intelligent person.
You were right.
No.
Oh,
they were right.
Oh, okay.
So not only was I wrong, I doubled down on it and was like, "Yeah, of course I know what it means." And they were like, "No, you fucking idiot. It was the word redundant." And they were like, "It means useless through repetition." And then suddenly I was able to look back and go, "Oh, so not only does it make sense how I misunderstood every use of this word, but I was immediately able to go back and go, this is what they actually meant when they said redundant." I'm like, I am a fucking idiot. And now with the podcast, I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, I'm just really lucky that every time I do it on the podcast, I usually end up being right. I don't think I've embarrassed myself like I did that night in private. And I'm so fucking lucky, dude.
And that's how I am too. And I'm composing a text or an email. I'm like, and I'll type something out thinking, that's right?
That doesn't sound right.
Look it up. It's like, okay, it is good. It's good. Because even a saying will come up wrong, just like I can't think of a proper saying right now. You know, two birds in the bush or in the hand.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, wait, two birds in the hand.
I did this one.
One bird in the hand is better than two in the bush.
That's a super obvious one. The one
yeah.
I fucked up, and somebody called it because I did it online. Was I think I said it's easier to catch bees with honey than vinegar or something like that. I basically fucked up two phrases. Something about piss and vinegar, and fucking it's easier to catch flies with honey than something else. I basically conflated two phrases together. And Scotty Ball of all people, Scotty is like, I think you meant to say this. He was so polite about it, dude. Like, oh man, shout out to Scotty for that one, dude. Like, he's like, yeah, I don't think you said that right, bro.
It is funny.
I do that shit so often, dude. I'm just really lucky on the podcast. I happen to use a lot of these words correctly. But anyways, I want to get back to it because we're wasting a lot of time having fun. But because I want to get to know you more. I want other people to get to know you more. Okay. So you know you're going to be a musician when you're in a musical family, you start doing music. When do you know you're like, I'm going to do music? Not necessarily covers, not necessarily originals, but you're like, yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Not only do I want you to tell me, but I want the thought process that happened with it. Were you like doing orchestra in class, you know, because you were doing piano lessons?
It is so deep.
At a concert?
Buckle in, all right?
What?
Buckle in.
A band?
No, buckle your ass into that chair. This is going to blow your fucking
Oh, well,
mind.
I better go take a piss then. Hold on, because I got to piss. You fucking start telling this story. I'm actually going to be right there. I'm going to hear
kidding.
you while you talk.
I was kidding. It's very short. My Uncle Greg left a Framus bass and a Silvertone amp in the basement of my grandfather's place.
Framus? Am I saying that wrong?
You said Framus.
Yeah, isn't it Framus?
Framus, as far as I know.
Look it up.
Okay.
Jason, is it Framus or Framus bass?
All right. And my brother took it, brought it back home to Brainerd. I somehow had an Iowa boombox. I don't know how I acquired that, but it was a weird horse deal. But anyway, so I had that. And then my friend Chris Zimmerman and Paul Tollefson and Todd Litchie, they were jamming together in the basement. They're like, I think Dan's brother has a bass. Let's ask him to play bass. Dan, you want to play bass? I reckon I could. That's it.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's how I got my buddy to play bass for my band in the Tyrants. Called up my buddy. I go, dude, I'm doing this rock band thing. I go, I think it's really good, and you should come play bass until we like find a real bass player. Like, I need a fill-in guy. Just come fill the slot. And he goes, you do know I don't know how to play bass, right? And I was like, you'll figure it out.
It's okay.
And then he was our permanent bass player, like
Good.
from day one, because I had heard him fake playing bass while he produced hip-hop records. And I was like, this is a great songwriter. He's my best friend. And I'm like, this motherfucker is dope. Like, no, just how do you pronounce it? That's all I want to know. How do you pronounce the fucking word, dude? Is it Framus or Framus? Because I swear to God, it's Framus.
How are we going to determine that?
Somebody will define it with that little long thing above the A. Right? If it's Framus, they're going to have that dash
the
above the A, yeah. Okay, so anyways, so you're musical, basically, is what you're describing to me. And then somebody's just like, hey, man, I think this guy, you want to do it? And you just start.
Yeah.
And then you realize you're kind of good at it. When? Is it right away, or does it take a while?
Took a while. And
did you decide to be good, or did it just happen?
It was forced upon me.
No, but did you decide? You're like, okay, I'm doing this, and if I'm going to do it, I want to be good, And then did you like really focus, or was it more natural?
Here's the audio. Come on.
Fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. Both of us are super unhappy with that answer, dude.
From us.
Fuck you, Jason. You're fucking you're not fired, dude, but you're not getting paid for tonight.
I stand corrected.
Fuck you. That one's coming out of your paycheck, you son of a bitch.
From us, Bass.
Yeah, fuck you, Jason. You fucking man, you son of a bitch. I love you, dude. Jason's laughing. The listeners, in case the listeners can't hear, Jason is laughing his ass off. Yeah. So I hope people are like, God, I can't believe he talks to his producer like that. He knows I'm joking. He's dying laughing right now in the background. Yeah. In case anybody can't hear that, I'm sure they can. But oh my God, that's funny. Fuck you, Jason.
To use the word of the day again, our little junior high group organically became good. We didn't try real hard. We just got together and jammed and just got better.
But you specifically, are you one of those guys?
I'm getting there.
Do you just kind of like put in a general amount of effort and kind of get lucky at being good at things, or do you?
I'll tell you what happened as far as playing bass. My junior high school band went kaput, but my drummer and I were stuck with a $511.92 bank payment every month, which is a lot for a 15-year-old.
Especially in
1985. Oh my
God. $500 back then. That's probably $1,300 now.
So we had to find gigs. So we joined a 50s, 60s country western variety band with a female singer named Roxy, who, hello, Roxy, if you're around. But now all of a sudden I had to learn One of These Nights by the Eagles, the and all this Tanya Tucker, and then just regular country and western songs, how they all go together, and a lot of Fleetwood Mac, and boy.
In retrospect, were these easy-ish bass parts, or were you thrown into the
most
fire
of them,
right away?
but it was a whole.
Because some of that old shit is way harder than it sounds.
That's when I had to learn and learn it right. You know, when I played Looks That Kill in my junior high band, and high school band, played it totally in the wrong key, didn't hit the right notes. You know, there was a lot of room for error back then.
Audio's not working on the videos. We're gonna have to figure that out, dude. We'll figure that out later. But
all right, so yeah, I was forced into learning things correctly, and it was a big wake up call, and I liked it. It was quite good. I learned a lot in 2 or 3 years of playing Tanya Tucker and the Judds, and a lot of Chubby Checker, and
so you weren't writing any music at this point in your career.
No.
I think a lot of guys in this scene do it in reverse. I certainly did, and Carver's got such a bad rap in this town, and kind of still do from certain people, and I've definitely been perpetuating that. But ironically,
did you say Carvers?
Covers,
okay.
And ironically, about 10, 15 years ago, I started learning covers to rebuild skills and chops. And I don't remember why or what happened, but there was this moment where I decided to do it. And my buddy, shout out to Mark Barr from New York.
Hey, Mark.
He asked me, he goes, dude, you're so good at writing your own music. He goes, why the fuck are you wasting your time? And I go, dude, it makes me so much better. And he goes, explain. And I said, dude, the way these guys approach a chord progression is completely antithetical to the way I would approach a chord progression. Or this guy, this one guitar player, like, used a chord that I've never heard in another song, ever. And so I just wanted to learn, what is that chord? Like, how can I put that chord in my music? And so I learned the riff. And while learning the riff, I learned something about the fretboard. I learned something about how chords are built. It changed the way I formed chords and wrote music. And it's made me a better musician. It's made my music more mature. It's made it more subtly intricate. So not flashy intricate, subtly intricate, where it sounds like I'm playing a G chord, And I am, but I'm actually playing that same G chord this way, which allows me to like randomly in the middle of the riff. It's not really random, but I'm hitting this extra fucking note on my middle finger, which just, you know, it's a fucking 2-beat chord that's played in the middle of a thing, but I hammer on my middle finger and it just adds this color. Yeah. And I would have never, ever, ever organically come to that on my own. It had to be learned through a much more seasoned, mature guitar player.
How does Mark spell his name?
M-A-R-C.
He does.
You might know him.
No.
You might know him.
I don't. But
he's legit. Shout out to Mark.
I just saw, I didn't see, but I've seen this meme where dude's at Starbucks. What's your name? Mark with a C. It comes back as Kark.
Get out of here, dude. I got
so that was good information you gave me there, but the whole time I'm thinking,
I gotta piss so bad, dude. We have to take a bathroom break.
I needed a spot where I could ask about Mark's name, and it's with a C. Kark. What's up, buddy?
Listen. So apparently we're having some issues with the links. Everything we're doing online. I've heard this on the last podcast too. So we got to get this figured out. We're not going to be able to do it tonight with the producer in training, but I have to play a song because I got to go to the bathroom.
All right.
This is a song from the Montoya Machine. I should be playing shit from my own fucking band, but I'm not. So we're going to play a song from the Montoya Machine. Jason, do you have any of these songs you prefer? Do you remember any of these? Okay, we're going to play Barrier. This song's called Barrier by the Montoya Machine. I hope you guys like it.
I felt my mind break today.
can you confirm that we're unmuted? Because I hit the button and it looked like it worked, Jason. Did you just unmute them? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So we're good? We're back live?
Hey.
Okay. So I did not actually hit the button. Really? The whole time? The whole time?
Not the whole time.
So they heard all that shit I talked about Jeremy?
No.
I'm just kidding, dude. All right. So, anyways, now that I pissed, I can actually fucking calm down and focus, dude.
All right.
Because that was super distracting for I swear to God, I probably should have pissed like 30 minutes ago. All right. So you're jamming.
Oh,
you're doing
hey,
some
hey.
cover shit.
Hold on. So where's my camera right now? Right here.
Your camera is right here.
All right. I was pretty proud of this post. Can you zoom in on this?
Don't zoom in. Just fucking here. Hold on. I'll just hold it closer.
All right. You got to read that. It's like you can. What does it say?
You can lead a puppet to an interview, but you can't make her think.
There you go.
That's pretty savage.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty savage.
Yeah.
It was definitely pretty obvious that she was not thinking her own original thoughts.
Look, we're back on politics. Let's leave that alone.
All right. So anyways, okay. So you're jamming. You're doing some cover shit. You're young. How old are you at this time? 17, 18, 19, 20?
When I'm in the country outfit, country 50s, 60s variety band, that's 15 to 18.
15 to 18.
15 to 17, something like that. Yeah. I remember.
And you slowly start getting better because it's not about what I'm understanding is, and this is what I'm always curious about with guys that were learning that older style music, because I feel like that music sounds simple and it's not. If you really understand the instrument and you get a good isolated recording of said bass player or, X drummer, Y guitar player, you're like, fuck, this guy was good. Like, holy fuck, dude, it sounds so simple when you hear it on fucking KQ, but fuck, man, this is way harder than it sounds.
You dive in,
especially with the
there's more to
subtleties.
it, for sure. Yeah.
Especially with the subtleties. So, and that's why I asked you that, because you're saying it wasn't necessarily that the parts were overly demanding, but especially back then, you had to learn them all and you had to be right. You're in a cover band, you're a professional, even though you're not writing the music as a professional. Cover bands were different back then. You guys were playing 6 nights a week, correct?
Not when I get to the country part. And we're talking the 5-6 nights a week. That didn't come until I was 21 or 20. I was 20. Oh my goodness! Someone had requested I touch on the Alaska experience in one of the.
Yeah. Is that?
I mean that would just take forever.
Well, we got plenty of time. So, how old was the Alaska thing?
That was 1990.
So
1990.
So how old were you?
20. I was born in 70. So
okay, so we'll get there in a minute.
But just like with cock rock, 80s rock now, you don't have to be a good bass player to play it. Because you can play it incorrectly, and that's just fine for most people. Because like how you said about, your buddy, like, how about you play bass? I don't play bass. Perfect. You're in. It's like that's how it is. A lot of people treat bass that way, and it's a shame, man, because it's it's not.
Ironically, I did it though because I had so much respect for him as a songwriting musician that I knew he had it in him. That was why I was like, "You'll figure it out."
Be a good.
It
wasn't. A good bass player, right?
It wasn't me dismissing the instrument. It was me dismissing his inexperience on any instrument. Like I could have asked him to play drums, and eventually he would have been really good at drums. Like that's just how highly I thought of Kevin.
Well, there's a lot of garbage bands out there with garbage bass players that just don't care, and they're all right with the bass player not being good.
Some of them turn out to be really good though.
I can't name one.
I can.
Okay.
What's his name from Van Halen?
Started very bad.
Yeah, I mean a lot of that shit is single note, dom, dom,
Well,
dom,
that's how that
dom,
song goes.
dom. Right. But that's because that's all he could do at the beginning.
No.
And
No,
literally it
totally-
sounded good, so
totally
they
wrong.
just kept it. And then that dude became prolific. That dude became amazing.
That first album has plenty of great bass playing on it.
Yeah, but not when they started that band. When they started that band, there's an interview where they talk about that. Like he goes, a lot of that fucking single note shit I was doing, it's because that's all I was capable of doing
Well,
when
I'll
we
just
wrote
have to
those
take
songs.
I'll have to take their word for it, or your word for it, to take their word for it.
Well, it's the bass player. What's his name?
Michael Anthony.
Yeah, Michael Anthony. He goes, yeah, a lot of those simple bass lines, dom, dom. He goes, because that's all I was capable of playing when we wrote those songs. Because a lot of those songs they wrote in like 1975, and that first album came out in like 1978. They got big in 1979.
I find that hard to believe, Jared, because of the ability of the Van Halens. They're just going to go, let's get this schlep over here that can play one note. I don't think they would go for that. I don't know. I mean, that might be Michael
Fair
Anthony kind of being self-deprecating, which, of course, you got to be.
You might be right on that. You might be right on that. It also might be like it might. I think you might be right now that I'm thinking about it as you say it, because it might be his way of saying shit that I've said when I'm surrounded by musicians that are overwhelmingly better than me, and I'm like, this is all I was capable of doing. And then what he's really saying is, I didn't know what to play at first, so I just started off with this really simple thing, and it sounded so good, we just kept it. Maybe that's what he was really saying.
It certainly is a bad comparison to the shit bass players that I see in this town.
Because even all the way through their career...
No offense, anyone. Just do better.
But even all the way through their career, like, that dude was not playing complex bass lines. And it wasn't because of a lack of ability. It just wasn't. Like, that dude was a prolific bass player. But even late into fucking Van Halen's career, he was never playing Les Claypool or Cliff Burton level bass lines. He was just never doing that.
I'll have to disagree with you.
You think so?
Oh,
Okay, school me then. As a bass player, why am I being naive right now? And I'm not challenging you like douchily. I'm saying I genuinely trust your judgment as a bass player. Tell me where the gap or lack of appreciation is. I'm genuinely curious in a non-shitty way.
Dude, even the first album, Ice Cream Man. Listen to what he does on Ice Cream Man. It's brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you start brilliant, and he's done plenty of great stuff.
Sure.
And to me, Les Claypool, you can't say he's a bass player. He's his own thing. He's
Okay.
You know, I do not judge someone on. I certainly don't play like Les Claypool.
Sure.
Do I care to? Because that's his thing, and I see other people doing it. It's like, wow, you probably studied long and hard to learn how to play like that guy. So the complexity does not. You need rhythm. That's why when we first talked and you're talking about your the kid you're mentoring, like, well, he's got rhythm. I mean, it starts there. If you don't have rhythm, just give up.
Sure.
Might as well just give up.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Starts from there.
Yeah. No, I think okay.
Yeah.
I always heard that about that guy. It's something I was like, because it was one of those things where the lesson, the way it was taught to me, was that he started off playing within his abilities, and he discovered something that sounded good. And even as his skill set continued to rise to, because real bass players know that Michael Anthony is one of the best bass players like of all time. But when you listen to the bass tracks, a lot of people don't hear it because he's not being a Les Claypool, because he's not being a Cliff Burton, because he's not being a Flea. He's not being flashy. He's not being Geddy Lee. He's not doing anything progressive or creative. Or I'm sorry, not creative. That's the wrong word.
I'd put him
crazy.
I'd put him up there with Cliff.
A lot of people do. Real bass players, like some of the people I respect the most, put him in that same category. And I think a lot of people, what is this? Oh, you found the interview I'm talking about? What? Okay, can you highlight? Did you find the specific quote that I'm referring to? Okay. Keep doing that in the background. When you find it, highlight it and pull it back up. Because I don't want people to think I'm making this up. Because doing a good job of paraphrasing him. But you're right. He might just be self-deprecating. But again, the way the lesson was taught to me is like originally he wrote riffs like bomp, 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 bomp. And he wrote that because that's all he was capable of writing when it came to
and the whole song,
getting something that sounded
the whole
good.
song is centered around that.
I'm not saying it's not.
So, and there's that album's got a lot of different styles, a lot of different things. And if you keep going back to that, that's good because that's the first song on the very first album. And it drives the living shit out of that song, and it's perfect. So,
right, and they could have written that inside out, right? Like they could have written that. They might have had that chorus and written it from the chorus outward, and then they're like, "How do we start this song?" And somebody's like, "Dude, start with that fucking bass line, dum dum dum." I don't know, but the way he said it just made it sound like, oh, he was just trying to keep up. Did you find it? Sometimes I would, especially in the early days when we recorded our first album, Ted Templeman. He was so into Eddie playing. Everything was really oriented around the guitar. I had to be really basic, but from the first time I ever picked up a bass, everyone always said, that's not a glamorous instrument. You're going to just stand there like Bill Wyman in the back and just play. Well, I figured I don't care. I love the instrument. I love the way the bass felt, the way it makes your pants and everything else shake. I think maybe if I played the bass more like Billy Sheehan, more lead bass, not that it's bad, I would be very frustrated. So I come in more thinking like John Paul Jones kind of thing. So, man, he's one of my all-time favorite bass players. You just put on the Lemon song and sit back and you say, wow, that's a great bass player. I play the instrument very rhythmically. Yeah, this is definitely the same conversation I'm referring to as far as like triggering memories and shit. So it sounds like you're more correct, where it was him dumbing down his own playing, not necessarily him incapable of playing more.
And I totally agree with his Billy Sheehan thing, man. Billy Sheehan's insanely incredible, but to me there's a lot to be desired with his bass tone, but he kind of needs that tone to be able to hear all the crazy shit he plays, you know. I certainly am not shit talking anyone good, but it's not my cup of tea. I think Billy Sheehan's awesome. He's great, but kind of sounds like his guitar, his bass is underwater, you know. You hear that beginning of Addicted to That Rush, it sounds like, and it sounds like underwater bass to me. That's fine.
It can.
Worked for him.
It definitely, I mean, I think my little brother definitely brought that up when he came and seen the Montoya Machine. And, dude, we played our first show. It was not good. Like, by my standards, it was not good. Dude, people I really trust were like, you guys actually sounded fucking great. When they say we sounded great, this is how my brain works. I'm going, oh, yeah, but that's because we have good gear. You're saying we sounded good. Like the sonic frequencies that came through the room, we sounded good. That doesn't mean we played well, you know, because I played like shit. Dude, my fucking kick pedal jumped off my bass drum in one of my songs. So every time I hit my right pedal, that beater just flew past my kick drum. Just flew right past it. Just didn't even touch it. So I had to switch everything to my left pedal. That was barely hitting the kick drum. So even like some of the double pace, the pop, 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 I'm trying to do it all on my left. I'm not a fucking left hand. What are we doing, dude?
You know
it was
what?
brutal. But everybody said it still sounded good, so.
I tell you what. None of that mattered because you probably had a shitty sound guy. Because that's another thing Minnesota's great with having is shitty sound guys.
I think Ezra was really good, to be honest. He's young. He definitely doesn't have a lot of experience, but I think Ezra was really good at his job. I think that venue sounds like shit. Like, I think that room.
What room?
We were Studio B at the Skyway. I don't think that room is set up to sound good. The layout of the room, the acoustics of the room, the way the waves bounce off the flat walls and the windows.
And Everett's guy's name?
Ezra.
Ezra.
Young kid.
Ezra, young kid. I
very.
I was not at the show. I'm just. There are a lot of shitty sound guys in this town. So I was just kind of making a joke about.
He's definitely young and inexperienced, but he definitely seemed to at least tried to do the right things. Like he was never like he never presented himself as an incompetent sound guy. But I know what you're getting at. I know what you're saying, and
A lot of incompetence out there.
dude, most of them. I've been lucky enough to work with almost none of them. Like I've been very lucky to almost every single sound guy I've ever worked with has been pretty great. Like think about this. I started with Joe Spanbauer.
I know Joe.
Like that was my first sound guy.
He loves that kick drum, doesn't he?
Dude,
he would
I
have
love
heard
Joe. I will never say anything negative
the
about Joe.
audience would have
including
totally heard
his-
your kick drum malfunction if Joe was behind the
Here's
board.
the difference. Here's the thing. Yes. But Joe himself, at whatever age he is, would have come sprinting from the back of the room because he would have known something was wrong. And he would have
Yeah.
personally come and fixed my kick drum mid-song. No other sound guy in town would do
And I'm
that.
not Joe. I'm not giving you shit. I mean, I'm just ribbing you. I rib everybody. It's not talking shit if it's true. You love a loud kick drum. Just saying. Most Minneapolis guys do. When it comes to rock and roll, sometimes it's overwhelming. It's like, how about you mix everything, not just that kick drum.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
That's kind of my where I come from.
I think the biggest thing is I think what most bands and most musicians, if you're listening to this podcast, what you should take out of this is get your own sound guy, because you're going to have either a house sound guy who flavors that room a certain way, or you're going to have like a universal sound guy that shows up at a lot of venues and he has the way he mixes things. And that may not be what's best for your
He
band.
can drive a truck. He can show up on time. He can run some cables. He's deaf.
But he can't back a boat up to save his life. I'm not talking about Joe or anybody else. I just made that analogy up. But let's get back to you, dude. So,
All right.
so you're doing the cover band thing, and you're 17, 18 years old. When did you know you were good? Like when were you like, okay, I'm doing this. I've been doing this for a little bit now. When were you like in that moment? Were you surrounded by other musicians who were already super legit
My drummer.
and they kind of gave you the credibility, or were you surrounded by
A little bit.
amateurs and you were like, fuck, dude, I got to get out of here? Like
Both.
when was the moment?
Both.
Tell me this story.
My friend Brad Rudkin from Brainerd, he saw our little band Savage back in, we're 13, 14, 15 years old.
Your band was called Savage?
Oh, yeah.
Great band name. Named after the city?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're big fans of Dan Patch Days.
I'm telling you, a great band name is Savage Burnsville.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a shitty, annoying pop punk band. If you name your band Savage Burnsville, but it is two cities that are side by side in Minneapolis.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a couple small towns in Iowa. I think they're on the same road sign as you're going down 35. It's Fertile and Manly.
Fertile and Manly.
Yeah. An old bandmate, Tori, he always used to say, fertile women love manly men, or something like no, fertile men love manly women. Something like that. Did I get that right, Tori?
I don't think you got either one of those right, if I'm going to be honest with you,
It's
Dan.
just funny. It's
Neither one of those sounded right, dude.
fertile. It's a joke. Fertile men love manly women.
Oh, I got the joke, dude. I'm just saying, I don't think
It's
I don't
gotta be
think it
right.
worked.
Oh, the only other way it's right is if you do it the other way, and that is less funny.
Yeah,
So maybe
you
it's
got
just
it.
a
You
bad
got it.
joke.
Yeah.
Might
I
be a
mean,
bad joke. Let's
here's
fact
the
check
thing.
that.
Here's the
Jason?
thing. Sometimes bad jokes are the best jokes,
Oh yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I make a lot of them. I'm
Greg-
the king of them.
Greg Gutfeld's made a career of it. I mean, he loves a bomb, man. But dude, Greg Gutfeld's the best. But he loves to make a joke and just let it stink and just.
All right, so
No reaction.
tell me more about you're doing this thing, and I want to know, when did you know you were good?
During
and you
that
had a
time.
real shot to do something. And I'm not saying I'm not asking you, Oh, did you have a moment where you were like, I might be the next Nikki Sixx? That's not what I'm referring to.
I hope not.
But you were like, hey, man, like this is a real thing I might actually be able to do.
When I made a living doing it since I was 15, you know.
Right away you knew?
Yeah.
What was the moment? When did
There's
it
no
hit
moment.
you?
It just happened. It was organic.
But you said it was you were with a drummer who was super legit.
I was there were two bands in Brainerd. The Good One and us. And then a member of the Good One plucked the Good Ones from our kind of crappy band. We made Tremor.
Okay.
And Tremor was huge, and that's when we got we got our bus and all the gear, and the lighting rig and all that.
Okay.
And,
cover band?
Still all cover. Well, no, we had some originals, but
okay.
And then that just kind of fizzled out. But then Todd and I were left holding the bank loan. That's when we joined the country band and all that, and that's where I learned how to play bass. And then we moved to New Brighton, formed a cock rock band in 1990. You know, when Slave Raider was huge, and Strange Sects, and Paragon, and
Wookie Foot?
No.
Wookie Foot was later?
No. Mariah, Brass Kitten, Pretty Boy, all these kind of five.
This is even before Free Beer and Boogie Wonderland and Wookie Foot. This is before all those bands.
Yeah, this is like 90 to 93. I was in this band called Mad At You that traveled the country with Chris Vox as our singer.
So you knew but you had that confidence. You had that moment where you were like, no, we're good. Yeah. And that was before you fucked with any national bands. That was so you were just like touring areas because again, cover bands. And I think I've been doing a really bad job of asking this question because for me, it took playing with other bands to realize, okay, I'm the big fish in this pond, but now I'm the small fish in that guy's pond. Well, so then I had to get better at that. And then it was like, okay, now I'm the big fish in this pond, but then you get to the next pond and you go, oh, I'm the small fish in that pond. And it wasn't about success or money or fame or anything. It was, for me, it was about talent and about ability. And I went, oh, there's fucking tiers to this thing. Yeah. So every time I think I'm the man and I get into the next tier, I'm like, oh, I ain't shit. That's what I'm asking you, because at some point in time, as you ascend those tiers, that's every musician goes, I think I'm legit, dude. I think I can do this.
Bunch of different tiers, then.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking you is when did you really go,
there's more than one.
Right,
right. So at that point, we fancied ourselves an original act, but we played covers and traveled all over the country. And the only other band in the Twin Cities that was really doing that as much as we were was Brass Kitten. And so we would go around. We'd go to Louisville and Indianapolis and Des Moines, Kansas City, and Atlanta and Florida and all that. And we'd see the best that area had.
Okay.
And so we had our own little cassette tape out. We didn't even get discs printed at this point. But we had a 11-song thing that we'd shop around or
originals or
original music. And
okay.
then we'd still be playing the covers. We got about 2.5 years into it, and we're playing in, what is the name of that city? Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach, we're playing a place called Hammerjacks, and there's a band called Still Rain that was playing Rock Burger right downtown near more on the strip, the whatever. But we played at different times, so they'd come see us before we started, and there was no one at our shit bar that was off the strip. Then we'd go see them just destroy at the end of the night at Rockburger, just pack the place out. And this band was Clint from Seven Dust, Corey that's now in Seether, Bevan that played with Danzig and Jerry Cantrell, and he's in like a massive Led Zeppelin tribute band now. Troy, who plays for Evanescence now, and he played in Seether for a while. And Donnie, who he with Troy played in Double Drive. Just monsters. This band was so fucking good, dude. And I think I was the only one in Mad At You that went, shit, like, can't compete with this.
Pull that mic a little closer, too.
Cannot compete with this shit, man. These guys were so good. Their
Okay,
songs
so
are great.
that's the question I
That-
asked.
That was a big one, and I was the only one in the band I think that thought that. I think everyone else thought we're great. Just they were arrogant and they couldn't see. No, these guys are 20 times
That's
as good as we are.
right. But there
Doing
was
exactly the same thing we're doing. and
okay,
they
but
just killed us.
so there's 100 of those experiences, but then there's a moment where you're in a band or a lineup, and either you're the only musician who can handle it, and you go, oh, okay, I'm in a different tier than all these fucks, and I know how shitty that sounds, but I'm trying to speed this up, or it's the exact opposite, which is you're in a lineup with studs and suddenly you're not being left behind and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I can fucking hang with the boys. Oh,
Yeah.
I think I might actually be able to fucking play in the NFL.
I can organically get there.
There's
I swear
there
to
you motherfucking son of a bitch.
So let me just tell you. I'll continue and I'll try. I'll get to that point. Which
Yeah.
that was
And take your time.
that was the big one right there. Just seeing that band Still Rain, they were incredible.
So at that moment you're like, oh, there's a tier to get
Yeah.
to that I'm not on yet.
So then,
So it wasn't when you were 15.
well, that was one
it
of
took
the
a
small
while.
tiers.
Right,
Little
but
tiers.
it
that
took a while.
That was the big step. So we end up. So I was going to say Chris, the singer for Hairball, old friend of mine. I got him his first singing gig in Mad At You. We traveled up throughout the country for 2.5 years. He and our guitar player quit. I hired a singer from Spokane, and my buddy Tori Stoffregen, who just quit Enough's Enough after like 18 years or something like that. But
Wait.
Yes.
Hold on. Did you just reference the band Enough Zenough?
I did. All right.
No one knows who this band is except for me and I don't know, 1,500 K-fan listeners because Chris Hockey is obsessed with Enough Zenough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like unless you're an insane hair metal fan from that era.
That's what they all rely on, dude. They go and do those boat
And
the two what do they call them the cruises and all that and the big the Rocklahomas and the
I can't believe you just referenced Enough Zenough.
Yeah. Well, that's where my
And isn't their last name Zenough?
yeah the bass player Chip.
Yeah.
Chip Zenough.
Yeah, it's Chip
I don't know if
Zenough,
it's
right?
real. Can we fact check that?
I'm pretty sure. Will you look this up, please? The band's called Enough, just like the word enough.
No,
and
it's
then
not.
it's Zenough.
Enough. ENUFF.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Z apostrophe nuff.
And I think somebody's last name is Zenough.
Yeah.
Or
bass player.
Zenough.
Chip Zenough. He banged Madonna,
Did he really?
Yes, he did. He'll tell you.
And you were in a band with that dude?
No, I was in a band with the guy all the way to the left. I was in 3 bands with him. Tori.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. But the first one was in 1993 when his band Tornado Alley out of Iowa, they broke up. Chris and Tony left Mad At You. Tori joined my band for 6 to 9 months. And that was it. And then I got this gets pretty interesting. There's a lot to say, so I'm not just speeding through
Yeah,
shit.
take your time, man.
I don't want to take my time because we got to get to the good shit.
Well, you don't have to do everything tonight either. Like, you can come back.
Oh
and
yeah,
we can,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
we don't have to blow our wad tonight.
Mad At You disbands on Christmas of 1993.
Okay.
And word gets out, and I got a call from Chainsaw from Slave Raider, he had his band UKI, Unstoppable Kamikaze Idiots. And I got a call from Randy Ingebrigtsen from the band Riff Raff. We hear that you're not in Mad At You anymore. Come play for us. And the spiel I got from Chainsaw and UKI was, well, we put out an album, and we're just older guys and not really trying that hard and blah, blah. even though they were further along than Riff Raff was, I talked to Randy and Riff Raff, and Riff Raff had Randy, who played in Flip, replace me in Hairball way later. And then the Thomas brothers, Steve Thomas and Billy Thomas. Billy Thomas plays in Hairball now. He played with Kid Johnny Lang, and he opened for the Stones in stadiums. This guy's amazing. I'm like, I want to play with these guys. So I chose to play with Riff Raff. We did that just for 6 months. Did not get
Jason, will you grab me a beer, please, bud?
I suppose I'll have one too,
Nice.
if I may.
Of course you can, dude.
And Riff Raff was very good. They were based out of St. Louis at the time, and we played a lot there. And Minneapolis, St. Cloud was also their home territory. And we just kind of went. Billy quit. Billy the drummer quit. My buddy Todd from Mad At You joined. We were Riff Raff for a little bit. We didn't get along with Randy. We fired Randy pretty much from his own band. So it was me, Steve Thomas,
Thanks,
Todd
brother.
Litchie, and we formed Slow Children out of that.
Wait a minute. You formed Slow Children?
Yes. Dude,
Bro,
this is what I'm telling you. There's so much. I got a lot of info here, dude.
Dude, that's one of the bands that got me into the local scene.
Well, there you go.
So one of my neighbors, I'm like 15, literally like 14, 15, and I was like already like recording shitty music on a fucking analog 4-track I have over there on the table back there by the drum set. You can see it if you look back there, but like it sounds like shit. It's on a Boss distortion pedal, through a crate practice amp, which
Sure.
I also still have. I
Nice.
still have that crate practice amp and that fucking analog Boss 4-track.
Nice.
I'm obsessed with gear that like has had songs written on it. I believe
Sure.
that the
Yeah.
gear retains that fucking character, right? I'm sitting there. My parents are fucking drinking beer and smoking pot, and they have the neighbors over and shit. And Lisa sits down, this fucking cool chick who's dating the neighbor. And she's just fucking awesome, man. Like, she was just like who she reminded me of?
Gwen Walls?
Fuck you. Do you remember Ton Mastery? That's who she reminded me of. Like, she should have been on the radio.
Rest in peace.
Like, she should have been on the radio, dude. Like, Lisa should have been that chick. She was awesome. She had a great talking voice. She had great taste in music. She was the coolest fucking broad anybody could know. She was awesome. She was fucking awesome. She was everybody's aunt, basically. And she hands me she goes, "Hey, I checked out this band. I think you were at Star Central. I don't know if it was called Star Central at the time, but it was that building." And she goes, because we lived right by there at the time, and she goes, "Hey, I went and checked this band out. Here, I bought their CD. You should check it out, because when you get your band together, maybe you could go open for these guys." I shit you not. The first show we ever got booked on was supposed to be opening for Slow Children when you guys you had already made the transition, but you were still in the transition of going from covers to originals. And we got pulled off that show for, I don't even remember. I'd have to talk to Joe Spanbauer. But that ended up not working out, and some other shit went down, and like we'll finish that conversation when I talk to Joe and remember the details, and then
That's
I have
pretty
you
funny.
on again and blah 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 blah.
Pretty
Yeah,
funny.
what the fucking crazy small world is
That's
it?
1994.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
not when you got involved. That was
Right,
probably
when you started, it was 94.
when you first heard of Slow Children. It was probably
98.
no.
Yeah, 98, 99. Because I had to be 14,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
15
okay,
before I
okay.
would have ever heard of you.
Okay,
Yep.
so I wasn't on that Slow Children record. They called it Children of a Lesser God. They were
Yep,
trying to switch
yep,
their name.
that's the record. Yep.
Yep,
that's the motherfucker.
So yeah, it was just Todd Litchie, Steve Thomas, Stibbs as he's known, and myself.
Stibbs.
yeah,
Yep, that's the singer, right?
That's Spit.
Spit. Oh, Spit.
But Spit's not in the picture yet. We're just a three-piece. We started as a three-piece for a couple months in the summer of '94. Played up at the Pacific Club in Superior a lot. And we had this black dude named V drive all the way from Kansas City up to Superior to try out to be our singer for Slow Children. So I was still in making money mode with Matt Atchew, and we hadn't felt the whole switch to grunge yet. You know, we kind of adapted a little bit. We're playing some Soundgarden and a lot of Alice in Chains and whatnot. And unfortunately for V, Spit his band Scary Harry had just broken up and played the bar the week before and just was sitting there. I heard you guys are looking for a singer. Like, oh boy, here we go. And and Spit kicked V's ass. He was quite good.
Okay.
So there we go. That's how the first Slow Children four-piece started. So did that with Stibbs for about a year and a half.
And how old are you at this point?
24, 25.
So unfortunately, we've skipped past the Alaska story.
Oh, that's a whole. You can have me back for a whole 3 hour of that one. There's so much. All
right, we'll do that. We'll do that then.
It's ridiculous. But so we fired Stibbs and we hired Sean Shaver, who now plays in a band called Rook 10, but he's been in Slow Children the whole time. Like when you would have seen it, he wrote the album with them and all that. And when I quit, they got a. Oh no. Okay, so we put the band to bed. I suffered a pretty major accident on my wrist here. I was hitting the equipment truck, the headlight. You know how you can shock a light to get it to come on sometimes?
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it was one of those round headlights, and hitting it harder and harder, and I went right through the thing. And I saw a flash of light, and I saw globules. Just grabbed my arm like that, and I had sliced my main artery in my ulnar nerve. That's these, so I've got no back and forth.
You can't do that on your right hand.
No, so my piano career is totally shot. That's
fuck.
Yeah, and you can see here, it's my hand from here to there is like it's asleep all the time. Which rubs on my bass every stroke that I play, and you know how it feels so good when you touch your hand when it's asleep?
Right, yeah.
24 hours a day.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that's why it's weird and crooked. And
I can see it, yep.
It's a goofy situation.
And you have all of this, but you don't have the side, you don't have this.
Yeah, I don't have the back. Thumbs there.
So can you still play with your...
Oh, yeah.
See,
I can do
all of
fingers and
that's
stuff,
fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
No back and forth. It's weird. Anyway, so we tried to keep the band going. I'd throw in a headset. We got our friend Icky to play bass for a while, and left-handed Icky. He's very good. And it was just stupid, drunk. Let's just put a fork in it, be done. So that's like 1996. And I think I got a temp job. Like I've never worked. I've had like small job. I've worked at Wilson Leather in 1989, sorting out their leather products for the big leather sale. That's about it. I made some cakes, some pies, poppin' fresh pies. Made some French silk material, and just very short periods of time in between bands. But so then I joined a band that I joined a band called Nobody out of Duluth Superior. Great metal band.
I feel like I recognize
Nobody was
this
great, and they had bass player issues. And I'm like, I need to rehab my hand because I had a whole contraption to keep my hand together and whatnot. I was playing with my fingers a lot and just trying to get my pick strength. I had a thumb pick and just trying to get back into action there. Joined with those guys. That was fun. I thought they have an album out called The Building of Hope that I thought was great. But these guys are they're inspiring, you know. These guys just, I'd never really seen them. As much as I'd played up there, I didn't see much of them. But I listened to that CD. I like this. It's very metal, very Sepultura and that kind of thing. Went up there. That didn't work. I just, in fact, we were playing one night at Pacific Club. a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, Wayne Wren, who was the husband at the time of the lady that I played with in the country and 50s and 60s band back when I was 15 to 17. She was there with him at the country club that was country bar that was 2 doors down. She came in and saw me playing with nobody and said, "You got to come play with me. I'm going to do rock and roll now." Like,
no shit.
oh, no. And wanted me to come on board and show her the rock and roll ropes. And so now I'm thinking, okay, this nobody thing is not going anywhere. Like, okay, I will join up with Roxy again. And my old friends Bob and Greg Carmen, hi guys, just saw your Facebook pages for the first time in 20 years or 10 years, whatever. We put together a band that was all right, you know. It was a country girl learning rock and roll, but not real rock and roll. Just covers, just doing Fleetwood Mac and
sure,
same old stuff. I gave her a timeline. Quit doing that in the summer of '96. Put together a band with Shaver.
So did she like decide the song list and stuff like that?
Oh yeah,
too?
it was her band.
Right.
But I think it got better than she had even expected, which was a problem because I never told any of my friends what band I had joined or where I was playing. I was just gone on the weekend, and then she's like, "Hey, we got a gig at the Blue Ox in Brainerd." I'm like, "No, that's my hometown." Like, damn it! So we did that, and that was fine. And then she's like, "Hey, have you ever heard of a place called the Mirage?" I'm like, "Yeah. I think we're going to do a battle of bands there." I'm like, "I'm not." There's no fucking way. No way in hell I will do that with you. Sorry. You know, because with Matt Atchu, we'd already headlined Mirage and had great shows, and it was awesome.
Right.
And so that was not going to be a thing. So let's just stop talking about that. I'm not even going to say the name.
Okay.
Because I don't like it. People will tease me about it.
All right. I kind of need to hear the name now. I'm obsessed with band names.
Well, it wasn't my idea.
Okay. All right, but we got it. You got to deliver now. What was it? Come on. It can't be that bad.
Not good.
Okay.
And it's so ridiculous that like about 10 years ago, my wife, Wendy, she found this girl in Brainerd that had that band's T-shirts. And she bought a couple of them for me and gave them to me for Christmas. And it was one of those great joke gifts that was Shattermax. It was Shattermax.
Shattermax?
Yes.
That's pretty bad. That was her name? She came up with that?
I don't know who came up with it, but that was the name of that
band. That was the name of her band. That's pretty bad, but that's not that bad. Like it could have been much worse.
I don't know how, but if you say so. I thought it was pretty embarrassing. Pretty bad name for a band. All right, so let's put Shattermax to bed. All right, let's not. It's almost 30.
It's pretty bad. You are correct. It's pretty bad. It could be worse though.
So I put a band together with a guy named Mike Berg, Wayne Estrada, and Sean Shaver, called Unnatural. There's an Unnatural in Rochester, and it's not that band. It's a short-lived band that we had. Wayne Estrada was the singer from Crash Alley out of Sioux Falls. And Wayne was awesome. He was a very drunk fella. He liked to drink, and he ended up killing himself with drinking, I do believe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, but it was a super fun guy, but that's why that band didn't last, because puking up blood is, it does not coincide with having a good gig in Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah, of course.
So then I get a call from Chainsaw again, because he was helping us with that gig, and now that gig's not happening. He knew, and they wanted me to play bass for UKI now. This is 1997, I think. And I do, It's the first time I met Michael Happy Schneider from Hairball, and Chainsaw from Slave Raider, who owns Hairball, and my buddy Danny, who went on to play with Slow Children later. Oh, it's so confusing. I should have brought notes.
You're good, dude.
So, there we have UKI, yeah, and so it got to the point where no one really wanted to be in that band or play that music in the clubs we were playing. The audience didn't want to see or hear us because, grunge and alternative had totally taken over at this point.
Okay.
And we've got, I don't know if you ever seen Happy play guitar, but he used to be very acrobatic, just like a pinball man, just all over the place. And Chainsaw with his patch and his, what do you say, fucking A, let's make some noise, Slave Raider stuff. And, and I, not like I was beat down. I didn't want to be doing it either. We had a truck mishap right on the Hasty exit at 94, just east of Clearwater. The truck was done. I go, let's let the band die with this truck. let's be done. Because we had just played a show at the Press.
So
St.
were
Cloud.
you guys not making money? Were people miserable?
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to play that.
So
music
you
to
just
those
weren't
crowds.
drawing
Drawing less. It was still.
Were you not making money as well? Like.
I felt bad taking the money.
Okay.
I was embarrassed to play. The song list, some of the execution was just
Really interesting.
Yeah. So I made the decision, and it no one fought me on it. It's like let's just let the band die. Let's be done. No one gives a shit.
Interesting.
And so I went and got a temp job putting together office furniture.
Sure.
Something I forgot to tell you, back in the Mad At You days in 1993, my buddy Sean Johnson, sound guy extraordinaire, he got a call from the Still Rain guys down. Remember the Still Rain? That little call back from the Still Rain, the band with Seven Dust.
I do remember that band name.
Well,
Steel Rain.
Still Rain. I had just told
Still
you that
Rain?
40 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's the guys with the Seven Dust and the Seether and the Evanescence. All these guys played in those.
Yeah,
bands.
but I remember that name.
Okay, Still Rain.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it earlier, but I do remember that name.
So they called Sean because they remember in Myrtle Beach they would come see us. We'd go see them. They realized the Sean Johnson.
Still
is
Rain,
good. Still,
not Steel Rain.
correct. Still. Yeah.
Okay.
They called him, stole our sound guy, which was a major blow. But so I was so sick of the scene in Minnesota at that time, the cover band bullshit. A lot of great players here. Shaver's awesome, a lot of good drummers and stuff. But I'm like, kind of what you were saying was like, there are great players here, but no one is stepping up to go, I think our geography is just off here, and we're not playing like a team. Like Slipknot, they put a great team together in Iowa.
Right.
No
yeah.
reason why we can't do it here, and this is right when I think Head Charge and all those guys were starting to get together. And that's when I left. I got a call from Corey, who plays in Seether now, to play in his brother Dustin's band. So Clint and Corey are brothers, and their little brother's Dustin. He had a band called Belt Fed out of Atlanta, and they needed a bass player. And they vouched for me and said, Dan's good. So we had some gigs opening for Stuck Mojo. I'm not in the band yet. They had some gigs opening for Stuck Mojo. And
What band was this? Just
Belt Fed.
Belt Fed.
Yeah, like a belt fed
No, I'm
gun.
Yeah.
So I got the audition, but I just packed all my shit. I was like, I'm not coming back. I
Nice.
packed in my camera.
I love that just arrogant fucking.
I had
That's a champion right
two
there. That's a
Ampeg
champion
M10s.
mindset. Dude, I packed my bags. I'm not coming home.
Yeah.
That's an arrogant champion mindset. And I say arrogant in the most complimentary way. Because I understand. We talked about this earlier. Here's the callback. I know the way I just used arrogant is incorrect. Arrogance means to overestimate your self-worth. I understand that. I'm not even going to ask Jason to look it up. I get it. But that's not the way I'm using it. The way I'm using it is when Randy Moss walks into the NFL and says from day one, he goes, I'm the best fucking athlete in the league, and you can suck my dick. That's
arrogance.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's massive arrogance.
But it's not, though, because it was true. Dude had 17 touchdowns his rookie season.
Oh, yeah. I was there in Atlanta.
Like, bro, like Randy Moss was the best receiver in the NFL from the moment he showed up. When Lawrence Taylor showed up, and and people were like, he showed up and he was a man amongst boys, and he was a rookie coming out of college, and he knew that, and he said that, and he goes, I'm going to eat you all for dinner. That's a quote from him at practice. He goes, you don't understand what's about to happen to the NFL? Yeah, that's arrogance, but it's also not. Because it was true. It was fucking true. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what you had in that moment. You said, I'm packing my bags. I'm not coming home. I love that kind of arrogance because it is arrogance when you did it. It's not arrogance in retrospect because it was proven to be true.
Well, and dude,
that's the shit that's healthy,
I'll
constructive. That shit's inspiring, dude. Those are those Michael Jordan moments, dude. And what I don't think a lot of people realize, and why I'm choosing to rant on this moment, is because a lot of those Michael Jordan moments, dude, are not from Michael Jordan. They're from blue collar guys. They're from regular dudes. They're from soldiers who, yeah, they got the medal, but they're not famous. They don't have fucking bases named after them. But those are the same dudes who inspired the Michael Jordans that turned around and inspired those type of dudes. It's those moments where it's like, I don't need to be Michael Jordan to have a Michael Jordan moment. Does that make sense?
It does.
You follow me on that? That's what you
It
had
does.
there, and it was proven to be true.
And
so even though I call it arrogant, it's not in retrospect. It was in that moment, but you were proven to be correct, and that's fucking awesome.
Well,
and I wish more people believed in themselves and took those leaps of faith.
Well, and let me say this: before I took that leap and did all that, Seven Dust had come around a million times. This is when the first album. You know, there's my buddy Sean doing sound for him. I get to meet all the guys. I had already known Clint a little bit, but I remember I got a good story about. Why am I? Oh, don't hate me. Bass player's name, Seven Dust.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh no.
I'm literally coming up with everybody's name. LeJohn, Morgan. I'm coming up with
John.
everybody's name except the bass player. Fuck, dude. Because Seven Dust is one of my favorite bands. All right, Jason, who's the bass player for Seven Dust? The original Vince.
Vince. Jesus.
Vince. Fuck.
Benny, sorry. Sorry. Anyways,
That's not the name I had in my head either, so I'm not the Seven Dust fan I thought I was.
so there's a this is a pretty good story. So they come through all the time. I know the guys fairly well. I mean, everyone knows them well because they're just super friendly, awesome dudes. But I remember I talked to Sean, and Vince, he holds his bass super low, and his pick pretty much hits right at the bottom of the neck. Back there behind the soundboard talking with Sean, be like, I just wish he'd pick that bass up a little bit and just dig in a little. It looks cool. Look with your bucket hat and you're picking your bass there.
Now, do you mean literally when you say that? I'm sorry, but as a musician, I have to understand what you mean by this. I think I know what you mean. When you say pick it up and dig in a little bit more, are you saying literally raise the bass a little bit and dig in harder towards the bridge pickup instead of softly picking towards the neck?
Can you see me?
Yep, we can see you. Hold on. Spin this. Pull that up to you. It's a 58, just like you're on stage. Okay.
So Vinny holds his bass
Way down there. Okay.
His arm is only so long, so he's hitting
Towards the neck.
here.
Towards the neck.
Where if you just brought up a little bit and really dug in here.
Okay, so it is exactly what
it
I'm
would
saying.
be, just exactly.
So basically, okay, so sonically, okay, so for listeners that, because eventually we're going back on audio. Okay, so for listeners that don't understand what the fuck we're talking about, basically what he said was, if the bass is too low, the way it naturally angles, you will start to softly pick at an angle towards the neck which if you have two pickups, it's a thicker, fuller sound. However, you lose a lot of punch, you lose a lot of attack, you lose a lot of articulate high end. So what he's saying is, if you lift up the bass on your strap, you physically bring the bass closer to your tits, and it will naturally force that same movement to force you closer to the bridge pickup, which also has higher attack, because not only is the string tension higher, so the string is brighter when you pluck it in that area, but that pickup is also closer to that area, so it also accentuates those same things. And so depending on where you pick the string between the neck and the bridge on a guitar or a bass guitar will change how the bass sounds, even though you're playing the exact same thing. So when he's saying pick it up and lay into it a little bit more, you get a punchier, more attacky,
more
clickier
distinct,
sound, more distinct, more articulate.
And with how low, they tune to be and probably
sorry,
lower.
I had my Joe Rogan UFC moment.
So,
sorry, I apologize to everyone
and they
who
would
found that
tune
very
so
annoying.
low, and there's so much going on, and so active on stage and everything. It did not, in my ears on that first tour especially. I saw him a dozen times. It didn't lock with the kick drum. It was just kind of flopping around, and so I would jokingly go to Sean, the sound guy, go, Jesus Christ, give me a bucket hat. Give me a bucket hat, and I'll fucking go in there and play it right. Just totally.
Right.
I am envious of what Seven Dust is doing, and envious of Vinny and all this kind of stuff. But I would say that every time I saw Sean, I was like, God damn, I wish he'd just pick that up and lock in a little bit more. And we're upstairs at First Ave after a show. I think Limp Bizkit is playing, and Vinny's like, oh, Dan, hey, Dan, come here, dude. Hey, Vinny, what's up, buddy? Let's do a shot. What do you want? I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. We go over to the bar. Give me 2 Yags for me and my buddy Dan. Johnny goes, here's to you, man, because you're so fucking cool. And I look at it, look him in the eye, and I go, Sean's been telling you the things I've been saying about you, hasn't he? And he goes, mm-hmm. Like, okay. And I just came clean with him. It's like, dude, just like what we just discussed. Like, dude, I'm totally envious of you guys. This is amazing. You guys are great. That's one critique I have of you. Of course I'm not going to say, get rid of that piece of shit. I'm in the band now. That definitely wouldn't be the case. But that was a pretty funny moment when Vinny just took me to task like, why are you talking shit about me? I felt awful.
When you think about your own success, no matter where you rate it, right? So I'm not trying to say how successful have you been 0 to 10. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying of your success, wherever it is, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much of it 0 to 10 is based on you being cool as fuck versus sheer talent? So in other words, how talented do you have to be to overcome any personality, right? Like, because we hear about Prince, we hear about some of the greatest of all time being horrible human beings. So it's super obvious that they were so talented that they could be completely piece of shit human beings and still be successful. But that's not relatable because most of us aren't like that. So you hear a lot of stories about people just being like average players, but they're super nice, super easy to get along with. We've all met them. Like you
Wrote
just
all
you
the songs,
can never.
and his name is Nikki Sixx.
No, you son of a bitch. No.
That's what I'm saying. Nikki. Well, Nikki's not the nicest guy. I don't think anyone would say that. I think he's probably a nice enough fellow, but I think he plays bass. I mean, he wrote a bunch of great songs, but doesn't really play bass.
Well, but I kind of want to make a call back to what we were talking about earlier. People
So what I'm saying,
call you
with-
an
with-
asshole now
with
because you
that-
happen to be on the wrong political side of things. But you seem from what people have said about you that I know and trust as credible humans, and from our interactions tonight, and we've been hanging out for a few hours.
Yeah.
You're fucking cool as fuck, dude. You're
Yeah.
super likable. So for young musicians who are worried about being honest and open about their personality quirks or their political opinions or maybe their sexuality, right? Like maybe some people are still to this day worried about being fucking gay, right? Or maybe some kid's worried about being straight because he's raised in a fucking gay community, whatever, right? Like being likable
That's like the rebel
versus talent.
the rebel voting for Trump kind of thing.
You know
It's
what I
like,
mean? Sure. Or vice versa, right? Like there might be some kid out there who's closeted and he's in a fucking super conservative environment and he's like trying to figure out the balance. So that success that you have had in this networking and building these relationships where everybody likes you and fucking you're doing well, your career's moving upward from 18 these cover bands through your early 20s through all of a sudden you're flirting with Stuck Mojo and Seven Dust, right? You're hanging out with these boys. Everybody loves you. How much of that is pure talent versus you just being cool as fuck? Because again, it's a juxtaposition between how people would refer to you or me now because you just happen to have the wrong political beliefs versus like your real life experience. You see, do you know what is the question I'm asking, is this clear or am I being too ambiguous with it?
No, I think as far as musically, of course you got to be good. You got to have rhythm first and foremost. You got to be cool. You got to be able to work with people. You got to stand your ground, and it is a crazy balance, you know, because you can be at a rehearsal and be like, stop. That sounds goofy. Let's not do that. And someone will be like, that was my idea. You said it was goofy. Like, shut up. We're at rehearsal now. Just you don't worry about people's feelings when it comes to getting work done. Do not. But you've got to be good to people and gracious and charitable and you got to be awesome. But be a prick when you have to, and fight when you have to.
And
don't take shit.
And that's super easy to understand that dynamic. I'm not saying it's easy to do the job, but it's easy to understand that dynamic when you're in charge, right? Like sometimes you got to hold guys accountable, right? Like if you're a sports guy, it's really easy to like watch a Tom Brady documentary and be like, you got to hold guys accountable when they're fucking blah, 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 command, respect, da, 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 da. But how do you do that when you're not the fucking man? How do you do that when you're, quote unquote, no offense, just the bass player? Because as a guitar player, right, as a former lead singer, as a drummer, right, as a songwriter, as a guy who has played pretty much every role at every level of bands, no disrespect as far as I'm concerned, and I just have to, it's just weird that you happen to be a bass player. So I'm just, because I believe in integrity and being consistent, like I put the bass player below the drummer. Like the bass player is the bottom of the totem pole, right? Like you're just the bass player, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it's the least desirable position in a band. I think it's the least credible position in most bands unless you're Les Claypool or Cliff Burton or Flea, right? Like there's certain bands where the bass player gets to shine, but that's a little different of a vibe. So how do you do everything we're talking about when you're not the man, you're not the main songwriter, you're not the front man, you're just the bass player, but oftentimes, and here's where I'm going to give you your pivot point to decide how you want to answer this, is oftentimes guys that aren't the man, ironically, lead rehearsals. Ironically, a lot of you guys who like aren't supposed to matter, right? The random rhythm guitar player is like the best at leading the rehearsals, as literally like, hey guys, this part was sloppy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how do you explain this?
And when I'm in rehearsal, I even get Guys, that was sloppy. you kind of put a gay voice overtone when you said that. I get way more flamboyant than that during rehearsal. But no, because
I'm being genuine I'm being ridiculous at the same time.
I know what you're saying. And it is, you ever heard John Kolodner?
I've heard the name, but I'm not going to bullshit you right now.
So he's like a big dude that you couldn't really put your finger on what he did for Aerosmith and all these bands. So when they say producer, Michael Wagner, executive producer, blah, 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 this and that, blah, blah, blah. John Kolodner.
Is he like executive producer on a bunch of shit?
He's just what he is. He's him. And some people have that. I'm me, and I can go to a rehearsal space and totally call the shots and not be over the top. It's like I'm hearing things that everyone else is not hearing, because everyone else, vocalists and guitar players and drummers, they love their lickety-dickety-dickies and it's like, shut up, everyone. Okay, let's start here. It's I would do that, and there's been times where it's really backfired on me as far as bandmates. I go, he is a prick. Like, we're trying to get work done. I'm actually very nice. I'm a super nice guy, but we're trying to get work done and try to get better. We've organically gotten this good. Think if we tried.
You son of a bitch! You
Think
just
if we
keep
tried.
bringing it back to organic,
dude. It's the theme. That's the theme. So let me go back to Beltfed now. Okay. So Beltfed was Steven Seals, Eric Rogers, Dustin Lowry, and myself. Dustin is brothers with Clint and Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Seals and Dustin, they formed a band called Ether Seeds on Roadrunner after Beltfed. Eric Rogers and the bass player for Stuck Mojo, Corey Lowry, who now plays guitar in Seether, they formed a band called Stereo Mud. Well, now the bass player spot's open in Stuck Mojo, and I'm there in the thick of the shit. And I got to know Rich Ward, the guitar player, very well. Who also, I formed Fozzy with him and Chris Jericho way back when. I mean, shortly after this. But here's another
like Chris Jericho, like the wrestler Chris Jericho.
Yeah, you never heard Fozzy?
Yeah, of course.
That's Chris Jericho singing.
Yeah, you were a part of that?
Yeah, I formed
Bro,
that.
get the fuck out of here. Do you know how many podcasts we have to do all this?
I know.
Dude, we're like, just so you know, I'm booking you 9 deep. like we're going 6 months out right now. Like, I'm booking you through 2029 at this point. Like,
all right.
Every 6 months, dude, I got to get you on.
And that's why I'm so glad
so you were
to
a part
this.
of Fozzy with Chris Jericho.
Yeah. But we're going to get there.
Oh, my God. Jesus
so,
Christ, dude. Oh, my God.
Thank you for this opportunity, because...
No, thank you for coming on.
Wally,
this is hilariously eye-opening. How I don't think... I brag about how wide open this scene is. Like, I brag about this.
I don't think anyone knows who I am up here.
I brag about how people don't understand what Minneapolis is. I brag about how the fact that the only town that's better than this for the music scene, and like how I could throw a fucking stone and hit a prolific musician in this town, and the only town I'm going to do better than that in is Nashville. Bro, see, give me, you know, because you've been around, right? You're the only person who can finish that sentence. And 169 episodes, you're the only person who's ever finished that sentence correctly.
Oh, yeah.
It's not L.A., it's not New York, it's literally Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
I want us to slowly rebuild what we used to have on the Nashville model. There's zero reason we can't do this here.
Count me out.
Fuck.
While Minnesota is blue.
Fair. Fine. Fine.
Seriously.
Fine. But you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to build a counterculture.
This is the first time I've been
I'm trying
in
to
Minneapolis.
do something else anyways.
This is the first time I've been in Minneapolis since 2020. I've driven through on 35.
No shit.
First time I've been on these streets.
Cheers to that, dude.
All right. Yeah.
Cheers to that,
I
bro.
boycotted this time.
Okay, so listen to me. we're gonna do a lot of podcasts because I wanna really take all this wisdom, knowledge, and experience, and I really want people to start listening so we can really start articulating this in a way where it stops moving past rhetoric and philosophy and starts moving into actionable, like, let's do this. Let's try this for 3 to 6 months as a scene and see how it pans out. Because the talent here
I am listening.
and our ability to compete with all these other towns and make a profitable industry, we can totally do that. I think the biggest problem is we have zero organization. What are you giving me the eyes for? What happened? What is XRP?
XRP.
What is XRP?
Woo!
What is XRP?
It hit 140.
What am I missing? What am I missing, you guys?
It hit 140. It's at 135.
What is XRP?
It's crypto. It's a crypto that's destroying right now.
Are you guys masturbating on digital currency right now? Oh God, nerds. Jesus Christ!
Unbelievable. I just got a text that said XRP exclamation point. I'm like, uh-oh. Ooh, that's pretty good.
So, I just want to set the stage for the future of not only the conversations I've been having, but I really want people to understand that I'm dead serious about all this. Everything I've been preaching, we're putting into practice. Like, we've got a lot of plans for the future for the next calendar year. And I think a lot of that starts with listening to guys like you who've been up and down it in every version of the scene and the industry, because the scene and the industry are two different things, right? The scene is the culture,
Yeah.
right? The industry is the business. If a town is going to ever have a name, you need both. There's a scene in Nashville, and that scene can change every 10 years. But there's an industry in Nashville that has never changed. It evolves, but it doesn't change. You know what I'm talking about, and I know you know what I'm talking about just simply based on this conversation. I'm hoping some of the listeners know what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to infer and imply some things. I'm trying to plant some seeds. And these are some things I've been talking about for a couple of years, and no one's been listening. And I mean literally no one's been listening.
And I will gladly help. Let's turn this state red, please.
We're going to get there, dude. We're going to get there.
I certainly hope so.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And it needs to happen because we need more conservative Republican policies in order to make economies like local music flourish.
And make a city like
It's a
Minneapolis safe again.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
So let me get to at least the first album I actually made as a national.
I'm not going to rush you out of here.
Okay.
Like normally we would wrap this up about 9:15, but we're gonna go as long as you want to go tonight.
Okay.
Because Jason, you don't have a heart out, do you? No, I didn't think so. Because we've talked about this. We've been kind of moving around some stuff. So, no, I want to pause this.
Okay.
Because we're gonna play another song. I wanted to play your shit, but the links apparently, I found this out last podcast, and we apparently didn't get it solved this podcast. All the external links we play, no audio is working.
Ah, okay.
For the external listeners, it's been coming up in chat, but the preloaded shit is working. So unfortunately, all we have is our shit. I wish it was something that you had done. We'll do this we'll preload your shit in the future. All you got to do in the future is just literally like email me like, let's play this track. I wrote this song, and then we'll preload it into the system, and then I can queue it up, no problem. But this is a song that I wrote. I wrote everything except for the lead guitars, which the old homie Dalton wrote. Let's give him props where it's due. Dalton Lightkeeper wrote these noodly, delicious solos. I wrote all the music, and Jeremy Montoya wrote the vocals. This song is called, I don't know what the fuck he named it. I used to call it Hatchet. I don't know what the fuck it's called anymore. But I got to piss one more time, and then we're going to get into the first.
No, we tip touch here.
Oh.
And check
I'm
it.
super into this. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm super into this. What are we doing?
This is Wally and
This is
I.
gay as
So
fuck.
Wally, my
I'm
homie
super into this.
from Skywine and my famous friends, my band that I play in every weekend. Instead of being all lovey-dovey and hugging each other all the time, we just make sure we tip touch.
Okay.
And the lighter the tip touch, the better the tip
The
touch.
more it matters.
So you just kind of want to play around here.
Wow.
We'll see you, buddy.
Wow, that was super light.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I thought I was going to go in light, and I was going to go in way hotter than that.
Isn't that fun? Everybody tip touch.
That was really, honestly, that was super.
Ridiculous.
No, I'm really into it, though.
All right.
I'm really into this idea.
I'm
By
sick
the
of
way-
hugging dudes.
by
Let's just
the
tip
way-
touch.
Did you know Rich is playing bass for my band? The Montoya Machine?
I didn't.
Yeah, so I'm playing drums. Rich Zazada from Skywind is
Dick
playing
Lasagna.
bass. Yeah, Dick Lasagna. I gave him that name. That's what we're going to come back with. I'm going to tell you the origin of Dick Lasagna. You don't know the origin of Dick Lasagna.
Okay.
That's me. That's me.
Okay,
I
okay.
gave him that. Well, not me specifically. Well, yes, it was me, but anyways. All right. This song's called Hatchet. This is Jeremy Montoya, not from the Montoya Machine. This is Jeremy Montoya from my band, The Rivalry. This is a song we wrote. It's called Hatchet. I hope you guys like it. I got to take a leak. We'll be right back, and we're going to explain the origin of Dick Lasagna. I can't believe you fucking called him that.
Oh, yeah.
That's me and Jeremy Blake and fucking Ryan Zimmerman and Dying Euphoria. Oh, that's such a great story. Oh, my God. That's how we're going to segue back into this, and then we're going to talk about the first song you wrote or the first album you wrote. What was it? Stuck Mojo. Suddenly you're making records. I love it, dude. This is such a fun podcast. All right, this song's called Hatchet / whatever the fuck Jeremy called it. All right. Well, Jason, you got to figure this out, dude. It's supposed to be playing right now. Throw OBS on my screen. Come on, dude. We got to get through this. Get it on the screen quick. Okay. So we're not on the right screen. Okay. So this is what's going on right now. You got to get to overhead main. That one. There you go. See? There you go. Now we're going to mute the mics.
Oh, revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having.
She's a little closer now, get higher when I think about it. She's a little closer now. I get high, I get higher. She's a little closer now. My anthem from the heart to be the man, to be the whore.
right, we're back. We're back, right? Let me turn that song off. Jason, we're back? Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh my
Hey.
God. I feel so much better after I piss, dude. Like, as it builds up, dude, it's like fucking... It's like a bomb in the back of my fucking head ready to go off, dude.
Yeah, we call them head bombs.
I have a hard time...
Piss head bombs.
I have a hard time concentrating, dude. So Dick Lasagna. So here's what happened. So we're sitting at rehearsal. Rich is filling in for Dying Euphoria. I happen to be the lead singer of Dying Euphoria at the time, and I don't remember what happened, but I said something Rich Zada, and somebody goes, "Did you just say Dick Lasagna?" I think it was Ryan. I think it was Rain Mustaine. I think Rain goes, "Did you just say Dick Lasagna?" And the whole fucking band heard me correctly the first time, but understood it was either him or Jeremy. But it was one of the two, Jeremy or Rain. If Jeremy Blake, if you're watching this podcast right now, please put in live chat how this went down. But I remember me being the one who said Rich Zazada, and somebody said, "Did you just say Dick Lasagna?" And basically our entire band died laughing, and from that moment forward, Rich was called by only us. This is the thing. It was only us who called him Dick Lasagna. Like, literally, no one else referred to him. But it went on for so long that eventually it caught on and other people started calling him Dick Lasagna.
Here I am bringing it up.
Dude, and then the best was when I don't remember what they actually called it, but we nicknamed it Dick Lasagna Fest or Dick Fest or Lasagna Fest or something, and it was basically Rich played in every single band.
Oh, nice.
There's 4 bands playing at the Rock Nightclub, and Rich was the drummer in all 4 bands. I think we called it Dick Fest. I'm pretty sure we called it Dick Fest, but it wasn't officially ever named Dick Fest. That's just what everybody in the scene called it. Like, it was on the fucking flyer, it was just a show. But everybody in the scene / industry was like, "Are you going to Dick Fest?" Because it was a thing that was being talked about. Because who in their right mind would play 3 or 4 consecutive sets? He did that. That was him. That was Dick Lasagna.
So
that's my current bass player. That's everybody's hero. Everybody wants to be Dick Lasagna, and no one can. No one can be.
No. There's only one Dick.
No
Lasagna.
one can be Dick Lasagna.
So I heard about Dick Lasagna.
Clip that, you son of a bitch.
I heard of Dick Lasagna from someone that I called Dick Lasagna after he told me about Dick Lasagna, and that fella's name is he's, you know what, super talented drummer, very very super talented drummer. I don't know. He would have to redeem himself to be considered a friend again, but he went off the deep end, I feel. And I shouldn't even bring this up. I should not even. But I'll tell you. Then, how about I tell you, because it's pertinent to what we're talking about.
I don't know if you're catching on right now, but I'm not fighting you.
But here's what I'm saying. I will tell you, and then we can just drop it because
you can keep going.
No, because I was pretty good friends with this guy. He's a very good drummer.
Let's go harder.
And he told me about the Dick Lasagna thing and
who?
The number 1 Dick Lasagna guy.
Yeah,
ever.
who told you about this? Who are we talking about?
I don't think I should even bring it up.
Yeah, I think you should bring it up.
No
one watches this.
Come on. Dude, they might have.
No one cares. Let's just tell the full story.
I
say it.
Seriously hate. I really hate the direction he went when he joined ministry and did all that.
Oh, okay.
Derek's Antifa, so I don't.
Okay.
I hope he is not Antifa anymore. I don't know if that's an accusation, but that was the name of their hit song that he played on and, protested a bunch of pro-Republican things. So, I don't know. Derek, if you want to come around and be my buddy again, which probably means nothing to you, but all right. So, yeah, he told me about Dick Lasagna because he played in My Famous Friends, stand-up cocktail kit. He was my bandmate for probably close to 8 months. He played a country music gig with me, the New Black Seven, which is a whole nother thing.
I would actually love to sit down with that dude and have a conversation with him, not only about his journey, music, getting into ministry, all that kind of shit, but even getting into the Antifa shit, dude, because I don't think a lot of those guys understand what they were supporting. I really don't. I think a lot of those people just think, oh, it's not an organization, it's an idea. I just don't like fascism. I think
Derek,
a lot of them stand on that, dude.
In Derek's position, if that is your idea, we cannot be friends.
I mean, we can definitely be friends, dude. We just got to talk through it. Like, we can't be drawing lines like this, dude. No, we got to be friends with everybody.
Like what you were saying earlier, I could be friends with him, but he can't be friends with me.
I see what you're saying.
It's like
Maybe.
there's no way that they would tolerate his.
Well, then let's talk them off that ledge, man. Because we're not trying to. We need to unite. We don't need to divide, dude. Especially in this town. Especially in regards to music, dude. Like honestly, man. Here's my favorite phrase, and I think this is an original phrase. I've never heard this from anybody else. Okay. The setup is you find me a band that gets along perfectly, and I will show you a band that fucking sucks. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you show me a great band, and I'm going to show you a band that has created fire. And guess what? You cannot create fire without friction.
Dysfunction.
Specifically, my phrase is, because I love it because it's true in regards to physics. Like, it's literally true. But it's a perfect metaphor for creating fire, which is universally true for something awesome. You cannot create fire without friction. Okay? Every band who's dope as fuck fights like cats and dogs. And they usually break up. That controversy, that friction, is what creates amazing art when it comes to collaboration. Okay?
Agreed. And
so my point is we should not be drawing lines in the sand because this guy thinks or feels this way and I think or feel another way. When it comes to art and it comes to collaboration in music, honestly, if the two of us can figure out a way to not just bury the hatchet, but maybe even figure out a way to artistically express the juxtaposition between our current beliefs and personalities, that might be the best way to create a peanut butter and jelly situation and create an amazing new expression of hard rock or punk rock or any of that. Like that I think is maturity, man. That's what I really believe. So as much as I want to tell all these people that have alienated me to fuck off, and as soon as I get power, you all can go. No, as soon as I get power, I'm hiring all you motherfuckers back, and I'm going to show you the right way to do everything. Because fuck everybody.
That is very diplomatic.
I'm going to try to be. I'm genuinely trying to be like this. It's not a facade, dude. Everybody that knows me, everybody that watches this podcast knows that the shit I say is usually the shit I preach. I'm very, very rarely a hypocrite.
In my position, in regards to my former friend Derek, I don't need to be artistic with him. I don't want to be. I don't want to be artistic with any drummer right now. It's not in the cards. Not to say I don't have.
I bet you'd love to be artistic with me, you fucking little son of a bitch.
I don't know you. I don't think you know what artistic means. Jason, can you pull up artistic? See the definition of it. Okay, what does that say? It says an act when two grown men remove their clothes and have a disagreement. No, there it is. Oh, I was way off.
Having or revealing natural. Oh, creative skill.
Organic.
Oh, I thought it was gonna go the other way. It said creative skill. Sorry, my bad.
All right. So yeah, and I certainly my intent is not to shit can anybody. I'm just kind of being open and honest about everything. I don't get along with everyone. I've never had a fight with Derek. Derek, we had way more great times than bad times. No real bad times. Just kind of saw it, and I was very proud of him that he got that ministry gig. And then that song came out, and saw some of that. I'm not friends with anyone that supports those ideas. So we'll just leave it at that.
I used to be friends with a bunch of dudes that supported those quote-unquote ideas, and it got very hard. It got very hard to have rational conversations with them, because as soon as you would start pointing out holes in their logic, they would immediately, like, again, we talked about this at the very beginning. I would be told, and I quote, by friends, people I cared about, they would say, "You put profits before people." And I'm like, dude, that is such an irrational. But this started 4 years ago, and I didn't have the patience to calm down and just go, dude, that's an irrational position, dude. Like, that's not a reasonable stance to take and start your argument from. Like, you're immediately putting me in the category of evil. I have a lot more patience now because I've matured a lot. And I've really learned a lot about how people react to things that don't go their way. And so I'm definitely, people, this doesn't matter to you because you're just meeting me tonight, but a lot of the listeners, even people like Jason, have probably already seen, even in the last 6 months, people like Jason who've only been here since June. Jason, I just hired Jason in what, June, was it? No, I think it was after that, right? August? Yeah. August. So he's only been here for 3-4 months. Listeners that have been listening. But I think people have already started to see a drastic change in my behavior and how I'm conducting myself and how I'm talking to people. And like, because I'm really starting to see that, again, the most civil way I can say this is, the opposition is not operating from a position of rational, reasonable stances or arguments.
Emotional and ridiculous.
I mean, it's getting there.
All right. So here. Let me get to the point that I really want to make, because this is another one of those a very pivotal moment in my career. So, first when I saw Still Rain and saw how great all those guys were and was just blown away, that was huge. So now Stuck Mojo needed a bass player, because Corey from Stuck Mojo just took my singer from Beltfed and formed Stereo Mud that had a little bit of success back in the early 2000s. I think. Was it 2000? Yeah. Late 90s, early 2000s. So the bass player position in Stuck Mojo was available, and Rich hired a guy, this lefty bass player guy. I'm like,
Dick Lasagna.
It was Dick Lasagna. No, he's a lefty bass, isn't he? Yeah.
He is.
So that's funny. It all comes around. So then it was a weird thing. So Beltfed, my band with Eric, Steven, and Dustin, we opened for Stuck Mojo in somewhere in North Carolina, and there was a weird thing that happened there between the singer of Beltfed and Rich Ward. When we got to Orlando and we're opening there, something really weird went on, and we got bumped from direct support to opening the show, and like, oh boy, this is terrible.
Now you have no idea why.
Well, I know because
no, but at the moment you didn't know.
I knew it was because of the weird thing that happened in North Carolina. There was a confrontation between Eric and Rich Ward.
Were you okay? But let's set from the perspective of a normal musician in that situation. Would you normally have known? Are you supposed to know inside information? Explain that. Like, break that down. Did you get bumped from direct support to opener? What's going on there?
It was
even the quick version.
It was a physical, a fake physical confrontation that happened in North Carolina, and Rich is not a big partier drinker, and the rest of belt fed was, and so Stuck Mojo left after this weirdness, and afterwards, Eric, singer, Stereo Mud guy, and Eric Rogers, how are you, buddy? All's good, but this is what went down. It ain't talking shit if it's true, right? Right. He was doing a lot of bragging, like, I picked Rich up and I threw him, I body slammed him. Like, guys were just, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. But Eric was, yeah, I body slammed Rich Ward. Like, and Rich at the time was very health conscious.
Okay.
He was enormous. And Eric's a small guy, so he was saying all this stuff. Then, of course, this gets back to the Stuck Mojo camp as we're driving to Orlando. And Rich had a meeting with our whole band. Yeah, you drank it, though. That's fine.
There's a little sippy sip in there. I still got my little sippy sip, dude. I'm not taking your sippy
No,
sip.
you already did.
No.
Yes, I'm telling you, you did.
I took your sippy sip?
Yeah. Yours is way over there, so you just grab this one.
Oh, dude, what is wrong with
That's all right, dude. I gotta drive back. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, just a little bit. No. That's plenty. There you go. Little sippy sip. Yep. Sip. Cheers, brother.
That's an actual sippy sip, dude.
It is. So I'm gonna just do. I'm not used to sipping, so
I
I'm just gonna
really
do this whole thing.
sippy sipped your sippy sip?
Yeah.
Bro, what's wrong with me, bro?
I was thinking, good. I don't need to be having some drinks right now. So, anyways, Rich has a meeting in the parking lot with us once we get to Orlando, and said, I don't appreciate this BS I heard. Of course, Eric goes, I didn't say nothing. I'm like, okay, now you're being dishonest about what happened, and yes, you were talking shit like crazy. So, anyways, Rich just he bumped us from direct support to opening the show, and then we didn't go to Miami to play with them. And so this is all going on, and they're playing with this bass player, left-handed guy that he looked terrified to be up there. He wasn't all that good. He's a keyboard player, for Christ's sake, and he just was playing bass. And I was pretty upset about the whole thing. And Rich, he'll change his strings every show, and he's back there. He's got his routine. And I took a gamble. I was pretty shit-faced. And I went backstage where Rich was changing his strings. I go, I'm paraphrasing. He could probably tell me exactly what I said. Maybe I should ask him. But I go, Richie, I don't know what you're doing. I'm your guy. That's not your fucking guy. This is bullshit. And you got to give me a chance, dude. This is not good. You're my favorite band. And that's why I'm here, quite honestly, because I wanted to be around this nucleus of this Atlanta rock scene, and it's you guys and Seven Dust, and you guys came first, and you're my favorite band. Just Snapping Necks and Pig Walk and Rising.
We should do a whole podcast on just that. But keep going.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, like, let's do a whole podcast on just that era.
And he pretty much just kept stretching his strings. Point taken. All right, thank you, Dan. Very respectful and just super nice guy. And then I heard from him on, I think, Sunday afternoon after the show, because they played 2 shows down in Miami. Of course, we're leaving from Orlando because we got kicked off the little mini tour for the shenanigans that happened in North Carolina. And Rich is driving the van, which he always does. He's like, Dan, I thank you for coming up to me and talking to me, and I really respect that you did that, and blah blah blah, and I think you're kind of right. And keep in mind, they are in a 15-passenger van with the bass player that just played the string of shows all the way in the back. Okay. But Rich is just on the phone, knowing he can't hear him, and asked me to join the van. Based on me stepping to him and saying, I'm your guy, screw that guy.
Wow.
And that's how I got the gig in Stuck Mojo. And
holy shit, dude.
And months later, I'm playing
the balls.
months later, I'm playing my first gig in Knoxville. 4 shows later, I'm recording the live album with them, and then touring all summer and making and then hooking up with Jericho and doing the Fozzy thing and doing that whole thing. Dude, I was signed to Century Media, Megaforce, and I can't even remember, DK Records or something, some independent with his band 6 Speed. That's a whole nother thing we got. There's a lot. There's a lot here, dude.
You should have sent me all of this in a proper bio so we could have put all this in the description.
We needed this discussion to crack and just scratch the surface here.
I mean, you definitely could have put this in writing, but I get your point.
That would have taken me a long time, dude.
It would have. It would have taken some work, and I get it. And I get it. I totally understand it. We're gonna build your resume for you. How about that?
And dude,
how about that? Jason, this is your homework as producer, as your boss. I'm telling you, this is your job tonight. All the things he mentioned tonight. Build his resume.
We're just halfway there.
Because honestly, you sent me so little that your description is that you're a human male who likes bingo and goats.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I put in there because I make it up. If you guys don't send me enough, I just make it up.
Here's what we're doing. Tell you what, since we don't have
infinite time. Infinite time.
We do.
Yeah, dude, we have infinite time because tonight there's no hard out. Right, so we're going to go into you're ready to go. But not only that, you get to come back as many times as you want and tell as many stories as you want, promote anything you want. There's zero restrictions. And that's the beauty of this podcast and this podcast format, which I call the death metal of podcasts. Long-form podcasts like this are the hardest thing to possibly promote because you're building it literally one fan at a time, one show at a time, one guest at a time. It is not a niche murder mystery fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not an efficient way to do this, but it is the most organic, authentic.
Well, I'm glad it's not a murder mystery down in the basement here.
Oh, you missed it.
What?
It's the most organic.
Oh, organic. Nice.
Authentic way to build a podcast. But what I'm really trying to do here is I'm trying to do 1% of what Joe Rogan did for comedy. And I'm literal when I say 1%. So you do the math of what Joe Rogan has done on YouTube. You do the math on what Joe Rogan did in all that. If we can do 1% of that for the Minneapolis music scene, I'm telling you, that will be a legitimate foundation as an industry that we will forever change the course of this town into something that is self-manageable and self-perpetuating. Like we don't need what again, Jason probably already irritated because he's been listening to clips. Listeners that have heard this podcast 1,000 times, irritated. But I got to say it again. This town collapsed. And I mean collapsed because we had 3 main booking agents, Shannon Brettel, Bill Berry, and Joe Spanbauer. And then we had a dozen headlining bands. And in one calendar year, all 3 of those people retired and all of those bands broke up. And nobody in any organizational fashion was able to fill that vacuum. And so it turned into Iraq post 9/11. Like just fucking chaos, dude. And yeah, I'm not saying people can't be successful in this town anymore, but we don't have a structure. We don't have a roadmap. We don't have clubs that are stable with a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night thing like the Urban Wildlife used to have. You know what I mean? Like, taxes are too high. It's too hard to operate in this town. Like, oh, dude, there's so many fucking. So we got to start. We got to start from ground zero. Okay. What do you do as a band? What can a band control? If you are creating music, what can you control?
I don't know, but I do want to point out that it looked like shock and awe in May of 2020.
Yeah,
It's,
fuck yeah. Yeah, dude.
Shock and awe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've got a family member that lost a multi-million-dollar building in the riots.
and they're raising property taxes to the point where the only way you can live in Minneapolis and own property without being a fucking high density corporation is if you're fucking rich. Because they want to increase population density. They want to literally make this Chicago, New York, which some people are in favor of. You know, it would create a better food and music and culture scene in regards to that. But it also displaces a lot of fucking affordable housing. It displaces a lot of quality of living.
I've got a solution to everything. It's 2 words.
I declare bullshit before I even hear it.
No,
It can't be a solution to everything.
it is. Ready? Ready?
No, I'm not ready. Hold on. Hold on. Give me
All
a
right.
minute. Let me puff my cigar. All right.
Quick Trip.
Quick Trip fixes everything. Quick Trip.
All right, we can just end on that. No,
We just eliminate Walmart and just put Quick Trips everywhere.
yeah. Tell you what, everyone's talking about food and gas is like I've never spent more. It's like I've never spent less.
I will tell you what.
Listen, Quick Trip is the best place ever.
You know what the
Shout out to Quick Trip.
You know what the greatest version of capitalism is? Especially for average Americans? Costco and Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Get ready to clip this, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Jason, get ready to clip this. Okay. Here's the greatest version of American capitalism, okay? Costco and Sam's Club, and I'll tell you fucking why. Because not only do I have the ability to buy things in bulk, I have a better shopping experience, but I have most of the time an opportunity to buy a higher quality product for a lesser price. When I buy ribs from Sam's Club or Costco, when I buy a set of knives from Sam's Club or Costco, like almost always, it's either a lower price or a better quality product than I could buy at a normal Walmart or Target.
Well, I'll talk to the Quick Trip people. Make sure they start selling ribs, and they already sell ribs.
I'm telling you right now,
one rib
dude.
at a time.
I save money shopping at Sam's Club.
Oh boy, do me a favor.
I have to pay a membership to be there. This is capitalism at its purest. I pay a membership fee to shop at a place so I can save money.
I get it. I've been doing that for
It sounds
20 years.
like if you're dumb, you go, "Oh, you're stupid. You don't even get it. Like you're paying." No, the reality is it's math. You just do the fucking math, and I save a lot of money shopping at Sam's Club.
You don't have to convince me.
It's kind of wild.
I don't
dude.
know who do you have to convince that argument to? I mean, that's kind of just a
people who can't do math. But then they want to pass
math
laws.
losers.
But they want to pass laws. But they don't know how to do math. They don't know how to extrapolate information. So they don't know how to take 2 or 3 steps and go, "Oh, I see the trend here." They just look at it and go, "Huh, I don't know. It's just it doesn't seem right. Like we should make this equal." And you're like, "What are you fucking even talking about? This doesn't even make sense. You're talking nonsense."
I was just going to say that
It's fucking nonsense.
to you. No, I get what you're saying. Sam's Club and Costco.
No,
That is a bold statement. Saves you money?
I save a lot of money.
I know.
Do you? Do you shop at Sam's Club?
Sam's Club, yeah.
Sam's Club?
But it's mainly Quick Trip.
Quick Trips. Quick Trip is the future of the world. It's like Demolition Man, where everything was a Taco Bell.
Hey,
Do you guys
when
remember
when
that?
we're done here, I'll show you some stuff that'll blow your mind.
Hey, Dan, we're never going to be done here. Just
Oh,
so you
yeah,
know.
we have to be eventually.
No, okay, but let's get past this. So
I've got a huge announcement. Can I make my huge announcement?
yeah, of course, dude.
So, you know what's going to be great for when the scene is rebuilt? Affordable and the best recording at Wheelhouse Studios by Wally Joseph in the northern suburbs. Nothing compares.
You're gonna single-handedly fund this.
Nothing compares.
You're
I'm going to fund it.
That's
he
your big
charges.
announcement, right?
No, that's not the big
You're gonna
announcement.
Pay for everyone's recording.
Yeah.
Dan Dryden is going to single-handedly pay for everyone's recording. So for now, the next 180 days, anybody who decides to record at Wheelhouse, Dan Dryden is going to pay for your recording.
Yeah.
That's the announcement.
Yeah.
Dude, you shouldn't have said yeah.
Certainly not the case. That's a little. I was going to mention that earlier, because
No, but Wally does my shit too.
yeah, he's amazing, and something he's done very recently in the past year and a half, 2 years. His daughter Josie, that I couldn't remember her name. Thanks for reminding me.
Son of a bitch.
His daughter Josie has become such a great performer, writer, singer. It's just crazy.
Classy, funny.
Yeah, she's great.
Just a super awesome. I had her on the podcast. Obviously, you didn't watch that. Because if you did, you would have referenced it and given me a whole bunch of compliments on how great of a podcast
I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
You son of a bitch. But anyways, no, I had her on the podcast, and she had been on the podcast actually with Wally before.
Okay.
But, it had been a year or 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck it was. And, man, like, she's classy. She's funny. She's just so mature for her age. She's awesome. Like, and I told Wally that I was hanging out with him, and I was like, dude, if I was you, man, I would just be so proud. Like, she's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like as a young woman, like she's fucking awesome. And that's gotta be, man, as a dad, that's gotta be like kind of the ultimate accomplishment to like raise an awesome chick.
Yeah.
Like, cause you're not a chick. How the fuck do you know how to raise a chick? You're not a chick. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like one thing to raise an awesome son, but to, like, as a father, raise an awesome daughter, like, that's pretty rad, dude.
And
that's pretty fucking rad.
It's not just that one. There's 2 others. He's got 3 awesome daughters. And
I've only legitimately ever met or talked to one of them, and that's Josie.
And we're going to put them all together and form a band called the Yankee Chicks.
I got a new name. Hear me out. Jansen.
Jansen? What's the yeah part? Uh-oh.
Jason got it.
Jansen. What's the yeah part?
I don't know if this is gonna work if I explain it.
What?
But basically it's just Hanson.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, let's move on.
Should we move on?
I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think I can explain it. Jason got it though.
Right.
Jason was dying back there. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. You made me feel funny for a moment. Just for a moment, man. You really saved me, dude. Because that really bombed.
Well, and Josie's got her band Bullets and Butterflies, right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing, great stuff. They're releasing songs like crazy. You know what sucks? Josie's. They don't do it full time. They're not on tour. Great original band though, aren't they? So we decided, Wally and I, that Josie shouldn't have to work a day job. She's going to join My Famous Friends starting 2025, and when they go on tour, it'll be just Wally and I, and it's great. It's a great thing. So now we're going to play the best of what Wally and I play. Then we'll add the Dolly Parton and Hailstorm and all this other stuff. It's gonna be
she's so
freaking
awesome,
amazing.
Dude. She's so awesome. It's so crazy because I remember fucking 10, 15 years ago when she was just a little girl, just showing up and doing backing vocals for Skywine and Wally, and she's awesome, dude. I hope nothing but dope shit happens for her. Like, she's the shit. I love
Yeah.
that girl.
Agreed. Yeah.
Especially after having her on the podcast and getting to know her, like, in her own element. You know, she wasn't with her dad. Like, it was just her, you know? And, like, she was funny and classy. And, like, that's just so hard to be in this world. Like, in this version of this world.
He was
like,
raised by a funny, smart-ass dad.
Yeah.
Wally's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's My Famous Friends. We're playing at Rivers Bend Bar and Grill in Ramsey this Saturday. Please, everyone, come on out.
What
It's
else
gonna
you
be
got coming
very
up
fun.
other than this Saturday?
Oh, we're in Waseca the 6th of December, Detroit Lakes on the 7th of December. After that, I don't know. But we got a bunch of other stuff. We play
Where
it
can people, if they want to follow you and come check My
just
Famous
on
Friends out?
Facebook, yeah. My Famous Friends on Facebook, myfamousfriends.com/myfamousfriends.
You don't have like a regular website?
No. That would be wise to do.
It's so interesting though, because some of those cover bands, you know, and Jamal and I are flirting with a cover band, and you know Jamal Carlson?
A little bit.
Yeah, him and I are toying with a cover band. It's his deal, but like I'm fucking around with him on it, and it's just so interesting because like there's a few routes to go, and you can try to go hard in the paint and like really professional and do the whole deal. Or you can just kind of like, I don't know, play it loose, do it organically, right?
Yeah.
And there's just such a distinct vein right now if you're going to start a cover band. There's a very, like, you either go completely polished, and I'm not saying this is a bad idea, but you either go completely polished, you do the fucking, what are they calling it now? It used to be called a EPK, a fucking, you know what I mean?
Electronic press kit.
Yeah, and now they're doing the thing down at A440. They're doing the beautiful production, like fucking
Big screen and whatnot.
yeah. It's hard to explain, but it's just, I don't know, man. You either do that or you basically go like from the ground up.
What are you doing Saturday?
This Saturday?
Yes.
What is this Saturday?
Coming to
What's the
see
date?
My Famous Friends at Rivers Bend in Ramsey.
Ramsey?
Dude, you got to see what we do. It's hard to explain what we do.
Well, it's just you and Wally, right? And then
Yeah.
sometimes Josie shows up,
Okay, but
right?
it's massive production. Massive production. We've got a 70-inch television behind
I'm not
us.
willing to come until you let me guest on drums.
We don't have any drums.
I know, and that's what Wally said, and that's why I've never come. Sorry, I'm out, boys. Let's wrap it up. I'm just kidding.
So, yeah, my Famous Friends.
Jason,
is,
will you grab me one more beer, please, buddy?
and I'm fine. I got my Red Bull to wash this.
Do you want a
garbage
water or
down.
anything? Will you grab me a water too, please? And obviously, you can grab whatever you want out of there, dude. I hope you know that.
Oh yeah.
He probably doesn't know that. He probably thinks he's not allowed to drink anything.
Is there any dick lasagna in there?
Do you have a huge production?
Yeah, we got our own production bigger than
You want a water?
the most. No, I'm fine. Totally fine. Thank you. And while we play, we've got the recorded drums that we program, or actually, we got some drums that Derek still plays on. We got some that Brian Keeling plays on, Mark Pewter. No, good. Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
I just wanted a beer. Thank you, buddy.
So we played a tracks. I've got a whole soundboard full of very funny sounds, much like what Red Band does with Kill Tony, which we didn't copy him. We did it at the same time. It's funny. I should show you some of that after we're done here. We play our rock and our whatever. We're friggin' awesome. Got a massive screen playing funny videos behind us, and we've got front and center a 14.5-gallon clear shop vac. That's our tip jar. It's awesome. It's just this giant weird thing. We don't do it like anybody. So there's more than the two roads that you're talking about, two different ways. You can do it the My Famous Friends way, which that would look ridiculous if you tried to do what we do, because no one does it like us.
Especially if you tried to do it out of the gate. But like,
And now, Josie's going to join us. It's going to be so awesome. We've called on her before, where when Wally's voice was just got shot, and they've been playing shows for 4 or 5 years now, and it really shows. She's just such a great singer performer, and just her pitch is perfect. And she's come in to save him and be like, let's just have you join the band. How about that? And she was like, yeah. And Wally's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Let's everyone say, yeah, together. Let's turn the page. Bye-bye, Donald Trump. Turn the page. Yeah. That's
no, for real though, like in her stage presence at her age, this is what I remember talking to her after because we were there for her first show. Me and my wife even came out. Like, we made a night of it, because my wife remembered when she came in and came on the podcast for the first time. Like, we sat there and I just remember telling her, and I remember actually, no, I don't think I got to talk to her the night of. I think I just talked to Wally, and I was like, her stage presence, dude, like she has like what I would call like a wisdom. Like, when she's on stage, she's so comfortable. Like, she's ready to be a front man. You know what I mean? Like, she's legit. Like, if this is her beginning, man, she's gonna be great.
Yep.
She's gonna be great.
Agreed.
Like, I think, man, she's awesome.
And a couple old guys like
It's hard for me
and-
to compliment
go ahead.
women because I hate
I'll
them.
start. You interrupt. As I was saying, a couple old guys like Wally and myself mentoring her, that kind of helps too. That's an old Tim and Eric line. You start, I'll interrupt.
Dude, it was just, the timing was so bad, because honestly, my joke was pretty good. But you're right. I fucked that up.
All right.
Should we try it again from the top?
No.
Let's do it again from the top. You ready?
I don't remember what we're doing.
We were talking about Josie.
Yeah.
Okay, and then 3, 2, 1. Okay. It's hard for me to compliment women because I hate them.
Yeah.
It's actually still funny the second time.
Yeah.
It's not true. It's not true. I don't hate women.
That
but
can't be true.
I just think those jokes are fucking hilarious. I used to ask my guests at the beginning of the podcast. I was like, I somehow knew coming up that I was like going to run out of the ability to keep the conversation going and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I'm going to ask people like really obnoxious, crazy, weird questions out of nowhere. So I think the first one I asked, I was just like, so have you seen any good porn lately? You know, something weird like that. And then like the next episode was like, oh, so, I heard something weird about you. So why do you hate women? Just shit like that, just like weird, like, and it was hilarious because I would throw my guests off guard. It was just really just me being insecure and not being certain I could carry on a 3-hour conversation. But
They're good curveballs.
every once in a while, I'll still
Yeah.
pay a little homage back to that.
I'm with you, man.
It's a little bit more self-deprecating now. Like I said, I have a hard time complimenting women because I hate them.
I listen
but
to you.
I do think that's funny.
I listened to you go on for about 3 or 4 minutes about what it was. I don't remember because I just couldn't wait to ask how Mark spelled his name so I could call him Kark. So I get it. It's like, that's an odd. How does Mark spell his name? He said with a C. Do you remember this? Are you falling asleep?
No, dude, I totally remember this. The problem is I'm looking at your phone that says InfoWars,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden as you're talking and you're going, yeah, how's Mark spelled, whether it was a C or not, and I'm just going, Alex Jones was right about everything.
Yeah.
Like, Alex Jones is right about everything except Sandy Hook.
Yeah. And he admits it.
Every single thing he brought up, he may not have said it correctly, like they're turning the frogs gay. Weird way to say it. Ended up being true. Like, he didn't present it the right way, but like everything he said was true.
He's an entertainer, just like our President-elect Donald Trump, who people can criticize how he says things. But guess what? He's the president. Soon to be. He's the man.
I'm really interested to see what RFK actually does with all the HHS. That's a really awkward. You were struggling with saying some stuff earlier.
I sure was.
That's fucking with me. HHS.
I couldn't say debate.
Debit.
And I was having problems saying Framos. Bass.
Is it? Did we ever solve that? Is it Framus or Framus?
It was from us.
Framus? No, that's
From
fuck
us.
you, Jason.
Bus.
Fuck you. That's why I said your pay got deducted tonight because you came up with that bullshit answer. No, that's
Way to go,
not-
Jason.
no.
Your pay has officially been dorked.
Yep. Fuck
Dorked
you.
pay.
I don't trust that random fucking. I want to know how that company says it. It's definitely on their fucking website.
Here's something we didn't even touch on that when I come back, we're going to talk all about it. Bingo.
Oh, yeah, let's get into this. So you
Shall we?
invented an app, dude. Yeah, no, because this
Yeah.
is one of the
very
main things I
important.
wanted to bring you on for. This is super interesting. So you actually created an app. It's super legit. It's called Bingoat.
Bingo.
It's a
yes.
bingo assistant app. It's the greatest of all time in regards to bingo assistant.
The world's
apps.
greatest bingo app.
And basically, we've done podcasts and talked about this with Wally. So basically, what it is, it's an app called Bingoat. You download it and you take pictures of bingo cards.
Correct. You buy bingo wherever you play bingo.
You
Buy
just
the
buy
bingo
your
cards.
cards. You just buy your cards. You just do your thing. And then you take a picture of it, right?
Correct.
And then you play bingo on the app. You go, oh, what? Hold on, give me one of these because I'm gonna fucking sound stupid. So somebody's like, oh, B4, fucking I-26, oh, G47, N34, but you're doing all this on your app, not on the actual physical card, right? And then the point is, the app will be like, oh, you have bingo on this card.
Yeah, you can.
And then you go back and you go dot 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 dot. So you like when you present your card, you only have your fucking Dobbs in your pattern or
you
whatever.
can do it however you want, but yes, if you have
you can
bingo,
play multiple cards. Like
if you have bingo, you have to have the daubed pattern that won. But so I've got all sorts of sessions. Like I can recall sessions. Where should I? It's not going to be seen, is it?
This one.
This one right here. So I've got all these different sessions. I can just pull up this one. This is the Grand Casino regular session. All right, we'll start. Let's see, I've got all the patterns right there. We're going to start it. Take a picture of the card. Boom, it digitizes it. Do another one.
See, this is what I was struggling with when I was trying to do this with my grandmother.
Struggling.
Yeah, it wasn't working well.
That's how Joe Namath says struggling.
It wasn't working well back in the day, and so this is what my question was, and one of the things I wanted to have you on. So you're flying through these, like you are flying through these so fast, dude. So is that because that's the premium version, or is that because you're on good Wi-Fi now?
There's a lot of factors to it.
Because
Good
I tried
Wi-Fi?
to do this on the free version back in the day. This was like 2-3 years ago, and I was super frustrated. And I remember I was like, dude, the free version, and I couldn't figure out if it was the Wi-Fi, if it was my phone, if it was the app.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
What it was. But what you just demonstrated was super smooth, super fast. Like
There's been a lot of developments.
now,
some
can you
improvements.
change since you just scanned 7 cards? You
4.
picked the form first, right? So
Yeah. I already. It's in the.
you picked the X first, though, right? Or
X.
the right? Like if you're
Yeah.
doing
This first one's regular.
you picked the pattern first,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then when they call, let's say they say B14, it dobs them all for you digitally. So I'm playing 4 cards there, N whatever that is.
Now,
or
how does
whatever.
it tell you which card is which, so you know to go dob them?
As soon as they start flashing like this, you get a little dark blue frame around the.
I get that
One.
part, but like, does it number them? Like, because there's a
Well,
number on these, right?
No. So when I was taking photos of them, did a photo, boom, photo, frump, photo, frump, photo, frump, flip them over. They're all in order.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Now, oh look, this one's 1 away. All I need is N34 in this one. So if they call N34, shows me I have bingo on card number 1, bottom right here. So you would just dob that real quick, and you win. Yeah, it's simple. It takes, you know.
It's
Like-
so obvious. It's so obvious why it's dope.
Like any app, like I haven't met anyone that gets on Facebook and gets it right away, or Twitter or anything. Instagram, I've had Instagram for a while, but I haven't looked at it in a while. So when I go back, I'm like, I don't know how this works. So yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, like anything.
Dude, I want to be one of the voices on that app. So
Gladly.
bad. I
can do that.
so badly want to be one of the voices on that
Yeah.
app.
I was gonna get Jericho to do it, and his management declined.
Josie's one of the voices on that app,
Yeah.
right? Wally's one of the voices on that app. And
Me
you're
and
one of the
Josie,
voices.
and
Wally, right?
my partner's cousin that
Oh,
does
dude,
the
I want to do it so bad. Dude.
Espanol.
I want to do it so bad, dude.
Yeah, because you not only can you do live bingo like that, you can do private bingo. There's private mode. It's
Dude, and you guys can download this app and have me yelling your bingo shit for you, bro.
yeah. There
Come
you go.
on. How fucking amazing would that be to have me yell your bingo shit, dude?
It's amazing.
Come on, dude. I'll get you kicked out of every bingo hall as fast as possible. It's going to be awesome. Come on, bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to the fucking the bar and you want like fun, you throw my voice on. When you go to play with my grandma and you don't want to get kicked out, you put Josie's voice on.
Yeah.
Like, we'll rate it. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm fucking rated R. Everybody else is PG-13.
Sure. Or Espanol.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, so I can say a lot of things that you all can't.
That's right. What's one of those things?
Let's not get started.
All right. Well, listen, we're only about halfway through. We just got to the first record with Stuck Mojo. We still have 6-speed. Happy from Hairball. I brought him down. He played with me in 6-speed down in Georgia. Dale Steele from Give moved to Atlanta, played in 6-speed with me. Remember Give? Was that before your time?
I think that's before my time.
Okay, Give was awesome. Of course, the beginning of Fozzy. We made a Fozzy movie, which I'll show you a link to. Amazing stuff. Did some really, really fun stuff.
Let's save the Fozzy stuff for the next podcast.
I will.
What
But I'm just telling you all the stuff. This is a preview. Hold on. I took 3 years off. Got a call from my buddy Tori that played in Enough's Enough. That was also in
go
Mad
ahead.
At You. Said, let's make a record called The Black Mollies at Sound City in California. Like, okay, did that. We toured around. That was amazing. We made another record. Michael Wagner produced it. I was in there. I watched him chew hard candy and his teeth busted out of his face, so I couldn't get a picture. Then came back. I joined Hairball. I made Hairball a $1 million company in about 2 years. And then I left that, and then that's just 2011. We got a lot of ground to cover.
We got a lot. We got a lot to cover.
That's
man.
right.
Especially in regards to the idea that like you're still doing shit now too.
I'm never gonna stop.
I'm never gonna stop. It's so funny you just found that podcast in the last couple months.
And I've probably watched and subconsciously in my sleep listened to 200 episodes already. And a lot of there's a video. Sorry, there's a video of
you
Will it-
caught yourself,
Yeah,
dude. Bro, see? This
William
is a real
Montgomery.
professional. I didn't even have to say shit. He
There's
heard it in his own headphones.
An 11-hour clip of just William Montgomery. It's so funny. It's so good. So, Kill Tony, Quick Trip, Trump, My Famous Friends, Josie from Bullets and Butterflies is joining My Famous Friends starting in 2025.
Oh, like officially?
Oh, yeah, she's joining the band.
Oh, nice.
So that's her day job now.
That's going to give you some really great diversity, too, in your ability
Absolutely,
to
man.
do just more. Like, because Wally is so prolific as a vocalist, and his range is phenomenal as well, right? Like man, I've heard Wally go deep, like, bro. Like, and I'm like, holy shit, that's you, bro. And then obviously we've all heard Wally go like super high, like and you're like, God damn, Wally's fucking dope. Like, it's crazy because almost everybody I've ever brought to a Wally show, even when we weren't there to see Wally, we were there to see the band before them or after them or whatever. And I'm like, oh no, this is my homie. Like, trust me, like this guy's dope. I'm like, whether it was at the time, I was like, I'm hoping he's gonna record my album or he is my current whatever. Regardless of how I set it up, it didn't matter. There was times I didn't say shit. And people would come up to me and they'd be like, bro, but Wally is fucking dope.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, oh, you didn't know that? And they're like, I had no idea. And there was people that like knew Wally and had heard shit from Wally. And I've heard this about me a couple times too, where they're like, Jared, I never thought you sucked. I never thought you weren't good. But I never saw that coming. Like I was impressed, but I don't want to imply that like I didn't think you were good to begin with. You know what I mean? People said that about Wally. They were like, I never thought he was like not good, but like, holy fuck, that dude's good. Like that kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
Well, then you add Uncle Dan and young Josie and our television and our Quick Trip endorsement. We're officially endorsed by Quick Trip now.
This
everybody.
Saturday in Ramsey? Is that what you said? This Saturday in Ramsey?
This Saturday in Ramsey at Rivers Bend. It's going to be fun. That's a great place. But
Maybe I'll sneak the wife out, dude. We need to get out of the house and go.
It's
Do they have
exact.
good food out there?
Yes, it's the best nachos ever.
It's the best nachos. There's no nachos that are better than these nachos. These are the best nachos of all nachos to ever nacho.
That is a cliche thing to say, but it's the fucking truth. Best nachos ever, and I recommend the French dip with onion rings.
The
There.
French dip
I
with
said it.
onion rings.
Yes.
Make sure you take your digestive supplements and get ready for the next morning.
AG1.
Is that what you do?
Yep.
AG1.
Joe Rogan says so. Hey, let me end. Let me end with this.
All right.
Because this is pretty funny, and then we should probably kill it. But it
Because Joe
blows.
Rogan says
It
so.
blows my mind, and it's extremely impressive. And Joe Rogan is an amazing dude, so knowledgeable, and he's done it all, and still doing it all. But I was never a Fear Factor guy. Didn't like that show. I hate watching people eat freaking snails and caterpillars and whatnot. I didn't watch that, so I didn't know much about him. But then when Carolla and Kimmel, they stopped doing the Man Show, Doug Stanhope and Joe Rogan became the new hosts of the Man Show. You know anything about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, so
I remember all that shit, dude.
Joe, so their first show, I didn't know who Joe Rogan was at all, other than I knew he was the Fear Factor guy, or maybe I didn't even know that. Maybe that's before Fear Factor. I don't know.
I didn't register him as the same guy, but
Okay.
I do remember all of this.
So Doug and Joe, they come out, and they're doing their little monologue. It appears to me that Joe is super stoned, and I thought they're not being funny at all. I thought it was freaking terrible, especially. Plus, they had big shoes to fill with Carolla and Kimmel leaving.
Right.
They stepped in. I'm like, ugh, I don't. Not a huge fan of this.
Well, it's Jimmy Kimmel, Joe Rogan, Doug Stanhope,
Adam Carolla.
Adam Carolla.
But it was only 2 at a time. So Adam and Jimmy were the first few seasons, and then Doug Stanhope and Joe Rogan came in as the next hosts.
But Joe Rogan and Jimmy were on at the same time.
No.
I swear to God,
Nope.
they
Not as
crossed
hosts.
over. I'm pretty sure they crossed over. Really?
Yeah. No.
You're 100%?
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
take your word for
Okay.
it.
So
But
With-
I swear they
with
crossed over.
with that in mind, so I'm thinking these new hosts are terrible. But I saw that I was down in Georgia at the time, in Warner Robins, Georgia. There was a really awesome comedy club, Whiskey something. But anyways, Stanhope was booked a show there, and I went there to see it, and he was funny as shit, awesome. And then he had someone heckling him. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. Y'all gonna help? Just tell you what, I'll just take a drink. Just heckle away, just whatever. No one's heckling him. And I go, Joe Rogan. Thinking that's a pretty good heckle because that guy was stupid. That was not
Sure.
funny shit at all.
Right.
And he goes, just Joe Rogan, the guy? I mean, I know the guy. Just like, listen, you guys got to up your heckle game. You can't just say a guy's name. Just like, what the fuck ever. And then to see what he has become and what he's done and how wrong I was about him, I don't know. I'm gonna go back and look at that first episode to see if there was any humor to that at all. But I seem to remember it was garbage.
Is it on tape?
It's got to be on YouTube.
It's like it made it into the edit.
Oh no! This is just a Stanhope stand-up show.
Oh, I thought you were saying this was during.
No, not during filming or anything. This is just
Oh,
him doing a stand-up
I
act.
misunderstood you. I thought you were saying this was during like the fucking
No, not the film.
preamble of
No.
Man Show and fucking. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
But yeah. So yeah, I heckled the name Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope back in 2004, 2005 because I thought Joe was worthless. Turns out he's worth a lot.
Dude, it's kind of wild too because like that dude was not necessarily ahead of the game on anything. He was very much like
Bless you. Bless you 2 times, Jerry.
fuck.
Bless you twice today.
Like I mean now he's ahead of the game on a lot of shit. But like dude, like I'm fucking 20 years younger than that dude, or 18 years younger than some shit. And there's shit I learned about in high school, coming through college age, in my fucking mid-20s. And this dude's just learning about it at fucking his late 30s, 40s, mid-40s. Even sometimes now he's like, oh, I just learned this. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, dude, you know so much. You're so well educated on so many random topics. Like, how are you just learning about this? I've known about this for 20 years.
I didn't know
Like,
about
what the
Kill
fuck?
Tony. I didn't know about Kill Tony until 3 months ago.
This is my point. That
Yeah.
great example.
You know?
Blows my mind. I'm like, how are you just finding out about Kill
Yeah.
Tony? Like, this is something I've known about for years. And honestly, I've known about it for so fucking long that, like, I remember it when it was really hard to watch. Like, you would pull it up and you'd be like, oh, God, Tony's so funny. Like, I was literally, this is how long I've watched Kill Tony. I remember knowing Tony Hinchcliffe was funny somehow. I don't know if I had seen him on other people's podcasts. I don't know if I had seen clips on YouTube of his own stand-up. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I remember being like, I know Tony's funny. I know this is a great idea. In fact, I was like, I wish I could figure out a way to do a music version of this, right? But I was like, if the comedy version isn't popular, there's no way I could make a music version of this popular.
And you'd need a bigger pool of musicians.
Correct.
Than
But
what this area has.
correct. But that wasn't even my fucking problem at the my problem is like Tony Hinchcliffe has great like I remember Dom Herrera was showing up.
Yeah.
And it was like it was clearly obvious that the comedy club was empty. There's nobody there. it was clearly obvious that fucking everybody sucked. And it was embarrassing. It was weird. It was awkward. But I remember seeing something in that and knowing he was funny. And I was like, but I want to watch this. I want to support this. But it was so hard, dude. It was so... It took a long time before it was like, there's something here. Okay, you know, I like this guy. I like this guy. These people are kind of funny. Like, he started, like, passing out golden tickets and having regulars and blah, 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 blah. And, like, it turned into something over time.
And it's the biggest, baddest thing ever. I
Now.
love it. Yeah.
Now.
Well,
But it was shit at the beginning, dude.
Well, it's 11 going on 12 years now, so I've seen it going back quite a ways, and I can still like and respect it and laugh, but it is just off the rails now. He
It's
is so
wild
funny.
now.
Yippee!
They've got it refined now. They've got it perfectly figured out. They have a regular. They have a name from the hat. They have a regular. They have a name from the hat. They have a guest appearance. They have a name from the hat. Like, they've got it nailed down now. They have equity. They're struggling a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed it, but
Struggling how?
so since Tony Hinchcliffe did the fucking Trump rally, they've had cancellations. So you can figure this out. So
Like-
if you've been watching, this is a great example. If you've been watching Tony Hinchcliffe's podcast long enough, when they have guys like Ari Maddie, who is a regular, when they have him suddenly guest appear, right? He's on the panel. That's because a guest canceled. Okay.
Okay.
You'll also notice every once in a while, you'll notice a drastic drop off of star quality. Like, they'll just have banger star. All of a sudden, boom, just a bunch of nobodies. And what's happening, if you like follow all the forums and shit, what the theory is that people cancel. They're like, oh, I can't make it, right? Well, suddenly, a lot of people seemingly can't make it post Tony Hinchcliffe doing the
There's
Trump
only-
thing.
if-
So, like, if you notice the guests that have been on post Tony Hinchcliffe doing the Trump thing, the guest stars suddenly on Kill Tony are
No, it's only been a month.
yeah, but if you notice it, there's a dip.
I didn't notice. Let me look.
I mean, I'm not saying this is
I do-
true. I'm just saying this is what's going around on the Reddit threads and like in the little forums where they're like, "Oh, I wonder," because the question is not if it happened. The question is who canceled. That
Yeah,
they're
and-
like, "Oh, I wonder who canceled this week. Oh, I wonder who the two guests were supposed to be."
Okay, so the most recent one was Ian Bagg and Tyler Fisher, and that was the day before the election.
Yep.
Ian Baggs from
But
Canada.
after the rally, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Then
But leading up to this could be a whole podcast in and of itself.
I thought Ari Shaffir was
Jason,
terrible.
Jason, you should be pulling this up, not Dan over
But listen,
here.
we also got to go.
We do got to wrap this
yeah,
up
this
soon.
is
but-
getting a little long in the tooth here. Yeah, well, thanks everyone for tuning in and watching the replay and all that. It's fun. I like it. Yeah, let's book something else. Let's get into it.
When do you want to come back on, dude? You want to come back on in like 3 months, 6 months? When do you want to come back on?
3 would be great. Let's do that.
3?
Yeah,
So like bringing it back on like February, March-ish,
sure.
March-ish,
Yeah.
February-ish, March-ish.
Maybe I'll bring
Right.
Wally and Josie with me. Who knows? Unless you want to keep it just singular kind of thing.
I mean, honestly, I don't really care anymore. I used to be like, oh yeah, let's spread out the content, each person on their own. But honestly, if you guys want to come in as a group, that's fine.
Yeah.
Wally hasn't been in forever.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just a timing thing. Like I used to during the pandemic bring Wally in on like fucking Tuesdays at like 11 a.m. because that's when he was available. I'm working now. You know what I mean? It is
Yes,
what it
indeed.
is.
Got to get on that mic.
So where can people follow you?
Facebook, My Famous Friends. Bingo on Facebook as well. We're on Twitter, but Bingo's not huge on Twitter. It's not a thing.
And Dan Dryden.
And yeah,
Dan
I am
Dryden.
Dryden Dan on Facebook. Pretty much my main thing. I'm on Instagram too. Maybe I'll ramp that up a little bit now too. But yeah, Bingoat, Dan Dryden, and my famous friends.
I'm excited, dude. We're gonna get you back on. We'll have you on in like 3 months.
We'll collect all the stuff now that we actually have connected, because we missed we didn't connect on that calendar invite, so I didn't know any of this information until 48 hours ago. Or whatever.
Oh, it's all good, dude. It's all good.
But now, yeah, we'll figure it all out, everybody.
Yeah, we'll get you
Thank you.
preloaded. We're still working up, dude. This thing's just gonna keep building, and our production value is gonna slowly get better over time. It's just been a weird transition, guys. You know, just handing everything over to where how I used to run everything, like literally run the podcast while I interviewed people and hung out with people, to hiring a producer, to getting them to start out with the basics. And I've got 2 different guys, you know, and one's more experienced, one's less experienced. They're both doing fantastic jobs, but it's a transition period of getting everybody on the same page and getting all this built up. And one of the things we want to do is we want to start having all the rehearsals for all the projects that I'm a part of that we're rehearsing within the other room. We're going to start putting that in the Patreon behind the wall, so you guys can subscribe to that. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to have the ability to have all of this audio production quality get into this seamlessly. So we got to get somebody like fucking Stephen Lane down here, who's really good at doing the kind of online audio streaming. And then we can get this shit down here, and maybe we can even have bands come down and do a song or two. You know, it's totally doable.
Direction to go.
And we have the equipment to do it. It's just a matter of like slowly building these blocks. So again, like, subscribe, help us get to 500 subs on YouTube, because then YouTube will allow us to do super chat. So if you guys want to, you can donate $1, you can donate $5, $100, whatever you guys want to donate. That's going to go 100% to our producers. So that's Jason behind the board, Steve, all those guys. And from 500 subs to 1,000 subs, 100% of that money, that's all going to the producers to help them get paid. And after that, we're just going to keep reinvesting that back into the podcast and into the production quality, so we can keep doing cooler things. So like, subscribe, please. I know it sounds patronizing, you guys. I know it sounds patronizing, but please hit subscribe on YouTube. It's free. Help us get to 500 subs. And that way we can make money by just you hanging out and watching. That helps my producers get paid even better.
Yes.
Everything. If you want to follow me and keep in touch with the Montoya Machine that I'm drumming for, the Rivalry project that I'm writing everything for, everything's Jared Singer Live, whether it's YouTube, fucking Instagram, Facebook. You're Dan Dryden, my famous friends.
Check me out on Blue Sky.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. You son of a bitch.
Don't look for me on Blue Sky. I will not be there.
You son of a bitch. That's not organic.
That's not organic.
How many more callbacks can we do?
I don't know.
You son of a bitch. That's not organic.
Unbelievable.
That's my original line. Unbelievable.
Okay.
All right. Love you guys. We're out of here.
Thank you. Bye.